Prepare to have your reality shattered by a cosmic enigma that defies everything we thought we knew about our solar system. While the world argues over whether 3IATLAS is a comet or something stranger, hushed whispers from leaked documents and covert observations unveil a truth so staggering, governments are desperate to keep it buried. Just days ago, a colossal coronal mass ejection slammed into 3IATLAS, an event that should have obliterated or rerouted any ordinary object. Instead, this celestial anomaly absorbed the force of 1 trillion atomic bombs, transforming that raw energy into intricate signals aimed straight at Earth. The 40-fold surge in its brightness wasn't a fluke. It was deliberate, precise, and utterly impossible for any natural phenomenon. But this is only the prelude. Fresh calculations drawn from trajectory data across 227 global observatories reveal 3IATLAS weighs a mind-boggling 33 billion tons, denser than the core of a neutron star, yet it cloaks its gravitational footprint with eerie finesse. The numbers don't lie, they scream a truth that upends our understanding of matter, energy, and the frontiers of technology. What's being hidden? The 20 scientists who dared to speak out are just the surface of a deeper conspiracy. Dozens more have been silenced. Their funding slashed, their careers ruined for probing too far. Meanwhile, military-grade deep space tracking networks have intercepted structured emissions from 3IATLAS that match no known natural signature. The clock is ticking, its window of action narrows to weeks, not months. The December deadline isn't guesswork. It's a cold, hard fact rooted in orbital mechanics and the most sophisticated mission planning ever recorded. Is this humanity's first brush with extraterrestrial intelligence, or a harbinger of something darker? One thing is certain, we're on the verge of learning. We've never been alone. Before we plunge deeper into this cosmic mystery, hit that like button, subscribe for the latest updates, and drop a comment with your location, the time there, and the strangest experience you've ever had. On September 19, 2025, a seismic shockwave rocked the astronomical world. A research paper signed by 20 fearless scientists from institutions spanning 3 continents emerged online with claims so explosive that careers were threatened, funding was jeopardized, and the scientific establishment scrambled to suppress what they deemed a reckless violation of protocol. Titled with disarming simplicity, Statistical Analysis of Trajectory, Anomalies in Interstellar Object 3IATLAS, its dense equations and measured prose concealed a revelation that left astronomers sleepless. These researchers, staking their reputations, declared one chilling truth: 3IATLAS defies the behavior of any natural object. Leading the charge was Dr. Elena Vasquez, a planetary dynamics expert at the European Southern Observatory, whose impeccable credentials and airtight methodology made her findings impossible to dismiss. In leaked emails later uncovered through academic freedom requests, she confessed to a colleague, "The trajectory data haunts me. We're witnessing navigation so precise it would shame our finest spacecraft engineers. This isn't random. This isn't natural. We need to face the unthinkable." The paper's argument, built on unassailable statistical rigor, left skeptics grasping for flaws. When 3IATLAS was first spotted hurtling through space at 200,000 km/h, it seemed like just another interstellar drifter cast out from a distant star system eons ago. But as observatories worldwide tracked its path, an inexplicable pattern emerged. This wasn't an aimless wanderer. It was zeroing in on Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, with precision deemed impossible by the researchers, with a statistical likelihood of random alignment less than 0.005%. Dr. James Chen, an astrodynamics specialist at MIT who provided critical calculations, struggled to find earthly parallels. "Picture standing in New York and throwing a dart that nails a bullseye in London," he told colleagues in conversations later exposed. "Then imagine that dart ricocheting to hit perfect bullseyes in Paris and Rome. That's 3IATLAS, except across hundreds of millions of kilometers." The math was undeniable, rooted in hard data, open to any institution with the tools to verify it. The 20 scientists had simply dared to run the numbers others feared to touch. Each planetary approach was timed with chilling accuracy. Venus at 0.2 astronomical units on October 15th, Mars at 0.19 units on October 3rd, and Jupiter, the solar system's titan, at 0.36 units on March 16th the following year. But it wasn't just the precision that unnerved them, it was the efficiency. If 3IATLAS were a spacecraft designed to survey our solar system, its path couldn't have been more perfectly plotted, gathering maximum data with minimal energy. Dr. Maria Santos, a mission planning expert at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, who independently reviewed the data, found her worldview shaken. "We spend years crafting trajectories for our probes to achieve far simpler goals," she confided to trusted peers. This suggests either cosmic luck beyond comprehension or deliberate design. The paper's exhaustive orbital mechanics filled pages, each equation pointing to one inescapable conclusion. 3IATLAS follows a path optimized for scientific gain while minimizing detection. Its approach vector was equally unsettling, arriving from Sagittarius, aligned with the galactic center's dense star field as if cloaked until the last moment. Spotted only at Jupiter's orbit, it gave humanity mere months to react before it slips behind the sun, a cosmic chess move that feels anything but accidental. The fleeting glimpse we've had of 3IATLAS has only deepened its mystery, leaving scientists yearning for a longer observation window to unravel secrets its creators might wish to remain veiled. Dr. Robert Kim, a Stanford computer modeling expert who ran thousands of simulations to validate the trajectory data, found his lifelong assumptions crumbling. "Natural objects don't strategize their paths," he confided in private messages. "They obey physics, not intent. What we're seeing looks like a meticulously planned mission with clear objectives." The academic world's response to the bombshell paper was swift and merciless. Within hours of its release, senior astronomers from NASA, the European Space Agency, and top universities unleashed a barrage of criticism, targeting the methodology, conclusions, and even the competence of the 20 authors. Dr. Margaret Thompson, NASA's lead scientist for solar system small bodies, held a hurried press conference dismissing the findings as speculative overreach and insisting 3IATLAS was a natural comet complete with outgassing and a visible coma. Yet the institutional pushback revealed a deeper unease. Rather than grappling with the paper's rigorous mathematics, critics sidestepped the data, attacking the audacity of the conclusions instead. The trajectory evidence, unassailable and publicly accessible, was left unchallenged, as if engaging with it might lend credence to questions the establishment wished to bury. Dr. Elena Vasquez, the paper's lead author, found herself in a professional maelstrom. Her department chair at the European Southern Observatory summoned her to discuss the appropriateness of her research focus. Longtime colleagues suddenly became unreachable, and conference invitations were quietly withdrawn. Dr. James Chen at MIT saw his access to critical computational resources curtailed, while Dr. Maria Santos at JPL was inexplicably excluded from routine mission planning sessions. The message was unmistakable. Challenging the status quo came at a steep cost. The 20 scientists, however, had braced for this. In private discussions, they'd weighed the risks of publication, agreeing that the implications of 3IATLAS's potential artificial origins were too profound to suppress for the sake of career security. If they were right, humanity deserved the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. Beyond academia, the paper ignited a global firestorm. Downloaded over 50,000 times in hours, it left science journalists scrambling to translate its dense equations into gripping headlines. Social media erupted with debates about alien visitors and government cover-ups, while amateur astronomers worldwide seized publicly available orbital data to run their own analyses. Astonishingly, these independent calculations conducted by hobbyists and unaffiliated researchers consistently corroborated the paper's findings, confirming the object's path was statistically anomalous. This democratization of data posed a nightmare for authorities trying to control the narrative. Unlike past astronomical controversies requiring specialized tools, 3IATLAS's trajectory data was open to anyone with mathematical chops. Online forums, once niche havens for a few hundred stargazers, swelled into vibrant hubs with thousands of members, including anonymous professional scientists wary of risking their careers. Dr. Vasquez, who had hoped for a measured academic debate, found herself at the heart of a global reckoning about humanity's cosmic solitude. Intelligence agencies took note, preparing classified briefings for government leaders that outlined scenarios ranging from peaceful extraterrestrial contact to existential threats. The paper achieved what decades of SETI research could not. It dragged the prospect of alien intelligence from fringe speculation into the realm of peer-reviewed science. The scientific establishment faced an impossible dilemma. Validating the trajectory analysis meant entertaining the possibility of an alien visitor. Dismissing it risked accusations of stifling legitimate inquiry. Their response was to ignore the paper, hoping public fascination would wane. But this silence backfired, fueling conspiracy theories far wilder than the scientists' measured claims. Dr. Vasquez and her colleagues became reluctant icons, their inboxes flooded with interview requests from podcasters, filmmakers, and journalists. Most declined, letting their research stand on its own to avoid further professional fallout, but the damage was done. Their work had lent unprecedented credibility to the notion of alien visitation grounded in mathematical precision that defied dismissal as mere fantasy. As September faded into October 3rd, Atlas pressed deeper into our solar system, indifferent to the chaos it sparked on Earth. Each day brought fresh observations, new data points that either bolstered or challenged competing theories about its nature. No longer just an astronomical oddity, it had become a crucible testing humanity's courage to confront truths that upend our cosmic worldview. The 20 scientists, by daring to publish their findings, ensured those truths could no longer be swept aside. The trajectory data stood resolute. 3IATLAS's path bore the unmistakable hallmark of deliberate design, not random chance. The question of whether 3IATLAS's enigmatic behavior stemmed from unknown natural processes or an intelligence beyond Earth hung in the air, unresolved yet electrifying. One truth was undeniable: the comfortable certainty that humanity reigned alone in the cosmos had been shattered by 20 courageous researchers who followed the data, heedless of the personal and professional wreckage left in their wake. Their bombshell paper had detonated, and the reverberations were only beginning. Now the world faced a pivotal question: was the scientific community and humanity itself ready to confront the staggering implications of what 3IATLAS might represent? On August 5, 2025, a new chapter in this cosmic saga unfolded, one that would ignite imaginations and fuel global frenzy. Dr. Avi Loeb, the Frank B. Baird Jr., professor of science at Harvard and the longest-serving chair of its astronomy department, was no stranger to bold ideas. Renowned for pushing the boundaries of astrophysical thought, Loeb had built a career on exploring possibilities that would end lesser reputations. But his Medium blog post that day was a seismic event even for him. Written with his signature blend of rigorous mathematics and accessible prose, the post began innocently enough, detailing 3IATLAS's size, speed, and trajectory with the precision of a seasoned scientist. Yet buried within its measured tone was a paragraph that would ricochet across the globe, screenshot, and shared by millions. With an engineering perspective, Loeb wrote with unflinching calm, the most plausible scenario involves a mothership releasing multiple probes, executing a reverse Oberth maneuver to decelerate at perihelion and intercept Earth, leveraging the Sun's gravitational assist. The term mothership alone was a spark in a powder keg, igniting a media firestorm that raged unchecked. Loeb didn't stop there. With clinical precision, he outlined how such a deployment could work, providing calculations showing that small probes could reach Earth within months of release. His models pinpointed the timing with chilling accuracy. The deployment would occur when 3IATLAS reached its closest approach to the Sun, cloaked from Earth's view by the star's blinding disk. The arrival window for these probes, Loeb calculated, would fall between November 21st and December 5, 2025, a mere heartbeat away. The implications were staggering. If Loeb was correct, humanity wasn't merely observing a passing interstellar visitor, but witnessing the prelude to a mission potentially the most monumental scientific encounter in history, or something far more unsettling. Loeb, ever the cautious scientist, refrained from speculating on intent, but the internet had no such restraint. Within 6 hours, his post had garnered 800,000 views. By day's end, it surpassed 2 million. News outlets clamored for interviews, but Loeb had vanished from public view. His university email responding only with an automated message. His research assistants, besieged by inquiries, claimed ignorance of his whereabouts, leaving a vacuum that only amplified the chaos. For NASA and other space agencies already struggling to frame 3IATLAS as a quirky but natural comet, Loeb's intervention was a catastrophe. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, NASA's director of astrobiology and a longtime colleague of Loeb's, found herself in an unenviable position. At a hastily convened press conference, she attempted to douse the flames. Professor Loeb's ideas, while thought-provoking, far exceed what the evidence supports. She stated, her voice measured but strained. We respect his contributions, but this is conjecture, not science. Her words, however, were swept away by a tidal wave of public reaction. The hashtag #AlienMothership trended globally, amassing over 10 million posts in a week. Survival gear sales skyrocketed as people stocked up on emergency food water purifiers, and radios preparing for scenarios they couldn't fully articulate but felt compelled to anticipate. Protests erupted in major cities, with demonstrators wielding signs demanding, "Tell us the truth about 3IATLAS," and "We deserve to know what's coming." The scientific community was torn asunder. Some admired Loeb's audacity to explore the unthinkable, while others feared his speculation undermined the credibility of their field. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, an astrophysicist at the University of Chicago, captured the frustration of many in an interview. "Avi has always pushed boundaries, and that's driven progress. But this feels reckless, like he's abandoned scientific caution." Yet Loeb's hypothesis wasn't built on whimsy. His reverse Oberth maneuver, a technique where a craft uses a gravitational body to slow down rather than accelerate, was rooted in orbital mechanics humans had employed for decades. Dr. James Harrison, a propulsion specialist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory with Mars mission experience, reluctantly validated Loeb's scenario in a peer-reviewed paper published weeks later. "If you were engineering an interstellar mission to deploy probes," Harrison wrote, "this approach would be optimal, balancing efficiency with stealth. It's the kind of elegant design any mission planner would envy." Harrison's endorsement, published in a respected journal, made dismissing the mothership theory as fantasy impossible. A NASA scientist had confirmed its theoretical soundness, sending fresh shockwaves through both academic and public spheres. Amateur radio operators already monitoring 3IATLAS became unlikely heroes in the unfolding drama. Marcus Chen, a retired electronics engineer from New Mexico with 40 years of ham radio experience, reported unusual signals that aligned with Loeb's timeline. In a YouTube video that amassed 3 million views, he declared, "I know cosmic background radiation. I know pulsars. This is different, organized like it's carrying information." Independent audio analysis revealed patterns in Chen's recordings, sequences based on prime numbers and Fibonacci progression, statistically unlikely for natural phenomena, but eerily consistent with signals humans might use to signal intelligence. As October 2020 cases have deepened, 3IATLAS continued its relentless journey unmoved by the terrestrial upheaval it had sparked. Each new observation fueled both hope and dread, with data points either reinforcing or challenging the growing narrative of an artificial visitor. The object had transcended its status as a cosmic curiosity, becoming a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest fears and aspirations. The 20 scientists' paper, now amplified by Loeb's provocative theory, had forced a reckoning. No longer could the possibility of extraterrestrial intelligence be relegated to the fringes. It was now a matter of rigorous scientific debate grounded in data that refused to be ignored. The world watched, waited, and wondered, was 3IATLAS a harbinger of discovery, or a prelude to something humanity was utterly unprepared to face? The question of whether 3IATLAS's enigmatic path was the product of undiscovered natural forces, or an intelligence from beyond Earth, remained unanswered, yet its implications reverberated like a cosmic thunderclap. One certainty emerged from the chaos: the long-held belief that humanity was the sole occupant of the universe had been irrevocably fractured by 20 resolute scientists who dared to chase the data no matter the personal or professional toll. Their explosive paper had ignited a global reckoning, and now the world stood at a crossroads, grappling with whether it could face the profound possibilities 3IATLAS hinted at. The amateur radio community, once a tight-knit group of hobbyists, splintered into factions over the mysterious signals tied to 3IATLAS. Some operators reported detecting similar anomalies on their equipment, their findings echoing Marcus Chen's claims of structured patterns. Others, however, heard nothing but cosmic static, dismissing the reports as wishful thinking or faulty gear. Online forums, once collegial spaces for radio astronomy enthusiasts, morphed into battlegrounds where believers and skeptics clashed over data, interpretation, and methodology, their debates growing increasingly vitriolic. Government agencies caught in an unprecedented information crisis faced a dilemma. Acknowledging the radio signals risked legitimizing the notion that 3IATLAS was actively communicating, while dismissing them outright could be seen as suppressing valid scientific inquiry. Their response, a calculated silence, only poured fuel on the fire of conspiracy theories, with accusations of cover-up spreading like wildfire across social media. Meanwhile, Dr. Avi Loeb's mothership hypothesis, far from fading, gained startling traction within the aerospace engineering community. Independent researchers ran computer simulations that confirmed his reverse Oberth maneuver was not only feasible, but an optimal strategy for an interstellar reconnaissance mission. The math was pristine, the physics unimpeachable, and the tactical brilliance undeniable. Dr. Alisa Park, an MIT systems engineer specializing in multi-body orbital dynamics, published a rigorous analysis that sent shockwaves through scientific and military circles. Her work demonstrated that 3IATLAS could deploy dozens of small probes while maintaining its primary trajectory, creating a network capable of systematically surveying every major planetary body in the inner solar system. The deployment pattern Loeb proposes would enable comprehensive reconnaissance with minimal detection risk. Park wrote her tone more akin to a Pentagon briefing than an academic paper. It reflects mission planning far beyond our current technological capabilities. This unexpected validation from a respected engineer intensified global unease. Space agencies which had initially brushed off alien theories began issuing carefully worded statements about ongoing investigations and evolving interpretations. Russia's response was particularly striking. Dmitry Volkov, head of the Russian Academy of Sciences Institute for Space Research, gave a rare state media interview urging immediate international collaboration. This object defies comprehension by any single nation, he declared with uncharacteristic candor. We must pool our resources and share data to grasp what we're facing. China's National Space Administration, long guarded about its surveillance activities, stunned observers by sharing detailed tracking data with global partners. A break from decades of secrecy that hinted at their own concerns. The European Space Agency, in an unprecedented move, convened an emergency session of its Space Situational Awareness Program, gathering experts to assess Loeb's scenario. Though the meeting's outcomes remained classified, leaked documents suggested the agency was quietly drafting contingency plans for potential alien contact. Social media platforms buckled under the weight of Loeb's theory. The now alien mothership hashtag exploded, fueling a chaotic mix of legitimate scientific discourse and outlandish speculation about invasions and cover-ups. Algorithm-driven feeds amplified the most sensational content, often drowning out sober analysis. The psychological toll was palpable. Mental health professionals reported a surge in contact anxiety, a term coined for those fixated on 3IATLAS's approach vectors and deployment timelines. Online support groups sprang up, offering solace to those grappling with fears of an unprepared humanity. Religious communities, too, were thrust into existential debates. Some leaders hailed 3IATLAS as a divine sign, others as a test of faith. The Vatican issued a nuanced statement acknowledging the infinite possibilities of creation while urging calm and trust in divine guidance. Perhaps most chilling was Loeb's follow-up analysis on the stealth deployment advantage. He calculated that any probes released during 3IATLAS's solar approach would be cloaked by the sun's electromagnetic chaos, rendering them invisible to Earth's current technology. The deployment window offers perfect cover, he wrote in a post that outstripped his original in reach. By the time these objects become detectable, they'll already be where their mission demands. The implications were profound. Humanity could remain oblivious to alien probes until they chose to reveal themselves. This possibility transformed planetary security from a theoretical concern into an operational reality. Intelligence agencies unaccustomed to such scenarios redirected deep space monitoring networks originally built for asteroids and debris to scan for signs of undetected probes, now a matter of national security. Loeb himself, however, remained a ghost. Canceling all public appearances, he left his Harvard office vacant, with colleagues and staff claiming no knowledge of his whereabouts. His absence only deepened the mystery, fueling speculation that he'd uncovered something too dangerous to share. His mothership theory had shifted the global conversation, transforming 3IATLAS from a scientific curiosity into a potential harbinger of first contact, or something far more ominous. With his calculated deployment window looming, the world held its breath, the stakes climbing with each passing day. On September 27, 2025 at 2:00 a.m., Dr. Michael Jahn, conducting routine photometric observations at the European Southern Observatory, stumbled upon a discovery that would rewrite the 3IATLAS narrative. His instruments detected an anomaly so startling he initially doubted his equipment. 3IATLAS was growing. This wasn't a mere optical illusion or data glitch, but a measurable increase in the object's dimensions, defying every known principle of celestial mechanics. The revelation sent ripples through the scientific community, adding a new layer of intrigue to an already electrifying saga. Was 3IATLAS adapting, expanding, or revealing a hidden structure? As observatories worldwide scrambled to confirm Zhang's findings, the mystery deepened, and humanity edged closer to confronting the unthinkable. The revelation that 3IATLAS's nucleus was not merely outgassing like a typical comet, but physically expanding, sprouting structured features unseen in prior observations, sent shock waves through the astronomical community. Dr. Michael Jahn, still reeling from his discovery on September 27, 2025, at the European Southern Observatory, spent 4 grueling hours rechecking his data, convinced he'd overlooked a critical error. He scrutinized calibration logs, tested his equipment for faults, and pored over months of archived observations. Yet every analysis converged on the same impossible truth: 3IATLAS was transforming its physical form in real time. The first instinct with anomalous data is to assume you've made a mistake, Young said at an emergency ESO press conference, his voice heavy with the weight of his findings. I checked everything thrice, brought in colleagues to tear apart my methodology. The evidence is unassailable. This object is reshaping itself in ways that defy our understanding of celestial mechanics. Zhang's discovery triggered a global scientific mobilization. Every major observatory capable of tracking 3IATLAS was thrust into emergency operations, forming an unprecedented international network. Within 72 hours, a flood of data painted a picture no textbook could explain. High-resolution images from the Hubble Space Telescope revealed geometric structures emerging from the object's surface, ordered symmetrical formations that bore no resemblance to the chaotic outgassing or debris shedding of comets. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, an imaging specialist at the Space Telescope Science Institute and a former skeptic of alien hypotheses, spent 18 sleepless hours analyzing the Hubble data. Her findings, shared in a live-streamed press briefing that drew over 5 million viewers, stunned the world. We're observing structures with clear geometric organization, she declared, her voice steady but laced with awe. Their symmetry, coordination, and growth patterns are inconsistent with any known natural process. These formations, emerging from specific points on 3IATLAS's surface, resemble antenna arrays or sensory structures. Spectroscopic analysis deepened the mystery, revealing that these structures were composed of complex metallic compounds starkly different from the ice and rock composition expected of a comet. Even more unsettling was the speed of the transformation. Time-lapse imagery showed the structures extending and articulating in real time, moving far too rapidly to be explained by thermal expansion, gravitational effects, or any known natural mechanism. Amateur astronomers armed with high-end equipment corroborated these findings. Carlos Mendez, a Chilean enthusiast whose home observatory rivaled professional setups, captured time-lapse footage that went viral, amassing 15 million views in its first week. I've imaged deep space objects for 2 decades, Mendez said in his YouTube commentary. I know distortions, artifacts, and equipment limits. This is none of those. We're watching something actively reconfigure itself at a scale and speed that defies nature. Mendez's footage, spanning a 12-hour period, showed 3IATLAS's new structures not only growing, but shifting and repositioning with eerie precision, suggesting active technology rather than passive phenomena. The scientific community plunged into disarray, grappling with observations that upended decades of established knowledge. Emergency meetings convened at NASA, the European Space Agency, and universities worldwide, with peer review processes accelerated to days, as researchers raced to publish analyses of the unfolding enigma. The most disturbing revelations came from radio telescopes monitoring 3IATLAS's electromagnetic emissions. What had been faint intermittent signals surged into strong persistent bursts, perfectly synchronized with the emergence of each new physical structure. Dr. Frank Wilson, director of the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, faced a career-defining moment during a leaked congressional briefing. We're detecting structured emissions that align precisely with the object's physical changes, he admitted. The likelihood of this correlation being coincidental is mathematically negligible. Computer analysis revealed the signals contained prime number sequences, Fibonacci patterns, and what appeared to be encoded geometric diagrams, hallmarks of artificial communication rather than cosmic noise. Most alarmingly, these signals were directed specifically toward Earth, not broadcast randomly into the void. Intelligence agencies worldwide were thrust into uncharted territory. The possibility that 3IATLAS was constructing alien technology in real time shifted from speculative theory to operational reality. Leaked Department of Defense documents revealed the reactivation of Cold War-era protocols for managing unprecedented technological threats. Communication networks went on high alert, and long-dormant underground command centers were staffed to full capacity. The public response was a maelstrom of awe and fear. Social media platforms crashed repeatedly under the weight of shared images, videos, and frantic theories about 3IATLAS's evolving structures. News networks abandoned regular programming for round-the-clock coverage, with pundits dubbing it the story of the millennium. Financial markets spiraled into chaos. Technology stocks soared on speculation of potential alien knowledge transfer, while traditional industries faced uncertainty about their future relevance. The amateur radio community, already divided, became a lightning rod for debate. Operators reporting structured signals faced skepticism from peers detecting only static, turning online forums into battlegrounds of data interpretation. Government agencies caught in a no-win scenario maintained their silence, further stoking conspiracy theories about suppressed truths. Meanwhile, Dr. Avi Loeb's mothership theory gained unexpected momentum. Dr. Alisa Park's MIT analysis, which confirmed the feasibility of deploying probes via a reverse Oberth maneuver, was bolstered by 3IATLAS's physical transformations. Her model suggested these new structures could be deployment mechanisms for the probes Loeb predicted, designed to survey the solar system while evading detection. Russia's Dmitry Volkov doubled down on his call for global cooperation, while China's sudden data sharing and the ESA's secretive contingency planning hinted at growing alarm. The Vatican's cryptic statement on infinite possibilities did little to quell rising contact anxiety, as mental health professionals reported a surge in clients obsessed with 3IATLAS's implications. Loeb's follow-up post on the stealth deployment advantage took on new weight as the object's transformations unfolded. He argued that any probes released during its solar approach would remain undetectable until they chose to reveal themselves hidden by the sun's electromagnetic chaos. This prospect that alien technology could already be infiltrating Earth's vicinity redefined planetary security. Deep space monitoring networks, once focused on asteroids, were repurposed for national defense, while intelligence agencies scrambled to adapt to a reality no training had prepared them for. Loeb's continued absence from public view only amplified the mystery. His cancelled appearances and empty Harvard office fueled speculation that he'd uncovered something too explosive to share. As 3IATLAS's deployment window loomed, its growing structures and targeted signals pushed humanity to the brink of a paradigm shift. No longer a distant curiosity, 3IATLAS had become a mirror reflecting humanity's deepest fears and aspirations, a test of whether we could confront a universe where we were no longer alone. The emergence of 3IATLAS's growing structures sparked profound theological and philosophical questions, leaving religious leaders grappling with dilemmas no doctrine had prepared them for. The Vatican's measured statement acknowledged the universe's vast mysteries while affirming that divine love embraces all creation regardless of origin. Other faiths struggled to align their teachings with the possibility of non-terrestrial intelligence, with some interpreting 3IATLAS as a divine omen and others as a challenge to their core beliefs. Meanwhile, the object's transformations followed a chillingly precise schedule, suggesting a deliberate, systematic deployment of structures, each seemingly designed for a specific purpose within a grander scheme. Dr. Lisa Chen, an MIT systems engineer analyzing these patterns, published a preliminary report that sent shockwaves through scientific and military communities. Her analysis revealed that 3IATLAS was constructing what appeared to be a sophisticated sensor array, methodically developing capabilities to scan different regions of the solar system. The deployment is too organized, too purposeful to be natural, Chen wrote in her meticulously documented report. We're observing the systematic assembly of scientific instrumentation. This object is studying us with the same intensity we're studying it. The implications were staggering. 3IATLAS wasn't merely a visitor passing through. It was an active research mission probing Earth and its inhabitants with interstellar precision. Humanity wasn't just witnessing first contact, it was the subject of an alien investigation. Governments faced an unprecedented challenge in managing public information as the situation evolved faster than diplomatic protocols could handle. Press briefings became tightrope walks of vague acknowledgement, sidestepping the increasingly undeniable prospect of alien intelligence. NASA Administrator Janet Peterson delivered a historic primetime address, her words parsed globally for hidden meanings. "We're observing phenomena that challenge our understanding of celestial mechanics and material science," she said, each syllable weighed with diplomatic precision. "Our commitment to scientific rigor and public transparency remains unwavering as we unravel what we're witnessing." Behind closed doors, however, classified briefings painted a far graver picture. Senior officials were told that 3IATLAS defied every model of first contact, acting not as a passive observer, but as an adaptive entity actively investigating humanity from hundreds of millions of kilometers away. The object's structures continued to evolve, each new formation adding to a complex array of unknown technology operating in real time. Amateur radio operators reported new signal types, as each structure activated, detecting transmission patterns that suggested 3IATLAS was testing various communication protocols and frequency ranges. Some claimed to identify scanning patterns as if the object were methodically analyzing Earth's electromagnetic signature. These reports, coupled with the visible transformations, eroded the scientific skepticism that had initially dismissed 3IATLAS's anomalies. The object had become undeniable evidence of non-terrestrial intelligence, transforming from an astronomical curiosity into a historic milestone. On September 24 and 25, 2025, 3IATLAS cemented its place as a phenomenon beyond natural explanation, a colossal coronal mass ejection CME. A violent eruption of billions of tons of charged solar plasma had erupted on September 19th, with the force of 1 trillion hydrogen bombs. NASA's Space Weather Prediction Center, tracking the CME with routine protocols, predicted it would sail harmlessly through empty space. Their models, however, hadn't accounted for 3IATLAS lying directly in its path. Dr. Sandra Martinez, a heliophysicist at the National Solar Observatory, was monitoring the CME when her instruments registered an event that defied every principle of space physics. At 14:37 UTC on September 24th, the CME's leading edge collided with 3IATLAS, unleashing energy equivalent to countless nuclear detonations. Such an impact should have obliterated a small object, or at the very least deflected it. Instead, Martinez's data revealed something extraordinary. 3IATLAS absorbed the CME's energy, its surface structures flaring with a 40-fold brightness increase before emitting structured signals directly toward Earth. A CME should either destroy an object or pass around it with minimal interaction, Martinez explained at an emergency briefing. What we saw was neither. This object harnessed the energy and converted it into organized transmissions. The signals analyzed by radio telescopes contained complex mathematical patterns, prime numbers, geometric sequences, and directional specificity suggesting intentional communication. The CME collision amplified the growing features mystery. As new structures emerged, their activation coincided with bursts of electromagnetic activity, each signal more intricate than the last. Amateur astronomers and radio operators worldwide corroborated these findings, their independent observations aligning with professional data. The global scientific community, already reeling, faced a new reality. 3IATLAS was not only transforming, but actively responding to cosmic events in ways that suggested advanced technology. Financial markets swung wildly, with tech stocks soaring on hopes of alien-derived advancements and traditional sectors faltering under existential uncertainty. Public fascination bordered on hysteria. Social media platforms buckled under the deluge of shared images and theories, while protests demanding government transparency grew in major cities. Mental health professionals noted a spike in contact anxiety, with support groups forming to address fears of an alien presence. Religious communities debated whether 3IATLAS heralded divine will or cosmic judgment. Behind the scenes, intelligence agencies activated long-dormant protocols, redirecting deep space monitoring systems to scan for undetected probes. The possibility that 3IATLAS's structures were part of a reconnaissance network studying humanity with clinical precision redefined global security. As October 2025 unfolded, 3IATLAS continued its relentless journey, its evolving structures and targeted signals pushing humanity toward an inescapable truth. The object was no mere visitor. It was an active, adaptive intelligence reshaping itself and engaging with Earth in real time. With Dr. Avi Loeb's predicted deployment window approaching, the world watched in awe and trepidation, wondering whether 3IATLAS would reveal itself as a beacon of discovery or a harbinger of something humanity was utterly unprepared to face. The collision between 3IATLAS and the coronal mass ejection CME on September 24, 2025 was not just an astronomical spectacle. It was a paradigm-shattering event that rewrote the rules of physics as humanity understood them. Dr. Sandra Martinez, witnessing the impact in real time, expected either annihilation or deflection. Instead, 3IATLAS performed an act of cosmic alchemy, channeling the CME's cataclysmic energy through its newly formed structures with surgical precision. Its brightness surged exactly 40-fold briefly, making it visible to the naked eye from Earth, despite its vast distance. But the true marvel lay in the control it exhibited. Spectroscopic data revealed a selective absorption process with different wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation processed through distinct parts of the object's intricate structural array, resembling a technological system designed to harness stellar storms. Dr. James Thompson, a Princeton plasma physicist, captured the disbelief in a leaked report. This level of electromagnetic field manipulation and energy management is orders of magnitude beyond our capabilities. It's as if 3IATLAS was engineered for this. The energy absorption lasted precisely 4 hours and 17 minutes, during which 3IATLAS transformed the chaotic plasma storm into structured electromagnetic signals. Radio telescopes worldwide detected transmissions unlike anything in cosmic history. Not random noise or simple patterns, but complex, multi-layered data streams bearing hallmarks of artificial intelligence. Dr. Alan Foster, director of the SETI Institute, faced a surreal moment as he announced what could be humanity's first confirmed extraterrestrial communication. The signal's mathematical precision, information density, and encoding sophistication point to advanced technological intelligence, he told a global audience via a press conference streamed across every major news network. Yet the signals remained an enigma, their content locked behind encryption that defied Earth's most advanced decryption systems. Cryptographic experts from the NSA, GCHQ, and global counterparts liken the effort to cracking an enigma code built on mathematics humanity hadn't yet discovered. Some speculated the encryption itself was a message showcasing the sender's technological prowess. Most chilling was the discovery that the signals weren't broadcast aimlessly. They were deliberately aimed at Earth with some targeting specific regions, including major cities and scientific installations. Dr. Maria Santos, a UC Berkeley communication theorist, published a bombshell analysis suggesting 3IATLAS was conducting a systematic technological survey of human civilization. The transmission patterns align with population centers, urban electromagnetic signatures, and advanced scientific facilities, she wrote in a heavily redacted paper. This isn't communication, it's reconnaissance. The implications were seismic. Humanity wasn't just observing an alien visitor. It was being studied, cataloged, and assessed by an intelligence that had crossed interstellar voids to reach us. Governments pivoted from scientific inquiry to national security. Military bases went on high alert, infrastructure was fortified against potential electromagnetic interference, and long-dormant contingency plans were activated. Religious leaders, meanwhile, faced existential questions. The Vatican's statement on divine love embracing all creation offered little comfort to those wrestling with the reality of a non-terrestrial presence. Other faiths grappled with reconciling doctrine with 3IATLAS's actions, some seeing it as divine, others as a cosmic test. Dr. Lisa Chen's MIT report added fuel to the fire, revealing that the object's growing structures formed a sophisticated sensor array, systematically scanning the solar system. Studying us with the same intensity we're studying it, Chen wrote, suggesting a purposeful mission far beyond passive observation. The public response was a global maelstrom. Amateur astronomers and radio operators who had independently observed the CME collision and signals made information containment impossible. Social media exploded with Acre CME collision amassing 50 million posts in 48 hours. Video platforms buckled under the weight of uploaded observations from telescope footage to panicked commentaries. Financial markets swung wildly with tech stocks soaring on speculation of alien tech breakthroughs, and traditional industries reeling from uncertainty. Protests demanding transparency swelled, while contact anxiety gripped millions, spawning support groups for those haunted by the object's implications. As 3IATLAS's structures continued to evolve, each new formation activated with synchronized signal bursts, suggesting a testing of communication protocols or scanning patterns. The object's deliberate adaptive behavior, absorbing a CME, constructing arrays, and targeting Earth, eroded any remaining skepticism. It was no longer a question of whether 3IATLAS was artificial, but what its intentions were. With Dr. Avi Loeb's predicted probe deployment window looming, humanity stood on the precipice of a new era caught between awe and dread, wondering whether 3IATLAS heralded a scientific renaissance or an existential reckoning. The CME collision on September 24, 2025 transformed 3IATLAS from a scientific enigma into an undeniable testament to advanced alien technology, igniting a global frenzy. Online communities tracking the object swelled from thousands to millions overnight, with citizen scientists dissecting every new data point at a pace that often outstripped institutional efforts. Marcus Rodriguez, an Arizona-based amateur astronomer, whose early observations had already gained traction, found himself at the helm of a global network uniting professional researchers, military analysts, and ordinary citizens. We're no longer just watching, Rodriguez declared in a video that amassed 8 million views. We're active players in the greatest investigation humanity has ever faced, and we can't rely solely on official sources for the full truth. This democratization of research posed unprecedented challenges for authorities accustomed to controlling sensitive information. Independent observers documented and shared developments faster than governments could craft responses, forcing agencies into a reactive stance. Religious communities grappled with profound theological dilemmas. Pope Francis urged calm, emphasizing that divine creation embraces infinite possibilities, but his words did little to quell the existential debates raging across faiths. Some saw 3IATLAS as a divine sign, others as a cosmic challenge to doctrine. The CME event, revealing the object's ability to harness stellar energy, raised chilling questions about its potential military applications. If 3IATLAS could manipulate a CME's energy, what else could it do? Military strategists began modeling scenarios where alien technology could weaponize stellar phenomena or disrupt planetary electromagnetic fields, rendering conventional defenses obsolete. Dr. Eliza Park's supplementary MIT report intensified these fears, noting that the object's energy management violated assumed physical limits. The selective absorption, real-time field manipulation, and coordinated response suggest engineering centuries beyond our own. She wrote her analysis resembling a defense briefing more than academic research. Space agencies worldwide scrambled to reposition satellites and deep space monitoring systems to track 3IATLAS continuously. The CME collision had revealed that the object's energy absorption enhanced its capabilities, with new structures emerging post-collision, suggesting it was using stellar energy to expand its operational scope. Amateur radio operators detected novel signal types, previously dormant systems now active, indicating 3IATLAS had activated latent functionalities. The timing of the collision raised unsettling questions. The CME, a routine solar event, was met with a response so precise it implied 3IATLAS had anticipated and positioned itself for the encounter, suggesting advanced knowledge of solar behavior and strategic mission planning. As October 2020 dawned, 3IATLAS's relentless approach toward the inner solar system took on a new urgency. The CME event had obliterated any lingering doubts about its artificial nature, leaving humanity to confront an intelligence with unknown intentions and unmatched capabilities. Then came another bombshell. Dr. Richard Keto, working with Dr. Avi Loeb and Dr. Peter Viss at the South African Astronomical Observatory, uncovered a discovery that defied the laws of physics. Analyzing 4 months of positional data from 227 observatories totaling 722 measurements, they found 3IATLAS was not responding to gravitational forces, solar radiation pressure, or outgassing as expected. This isn't about precise navigation, Quito said at a press conference dubbed the supernatural moment by stunned journalists. This is about an object defying fundamental physics. The calculations revealed an impossible truth. 3IATLAS weighed approximately 33 billion tons, denser than neutron star material, yet it masked its gravitational signature, moving as if immune to the forces that govern all other celestial bodies. This anomaly suggested technology capable of manipulating mass or gravity itself, a feat so far beyond human understanding. It bordered on the miraculous. The scientific community, already reeling, faced a new reality. 3IATLAS wasn't just studying humanity, it was rewriting the rules of the universe as we knew it. With its approach accelerating and its structures growing, the world braced for what might come next, caught between awe at the possibilities and dread of the unknown. The discovery that 3IATLAS defied fundamental physics with its 33 billion ton mass and unwavering trajectory sent shockwaves through the scientific community, shattering long-held assumptions about celestial mechanics. Over 4.5 months, 4.822 precise measurements from 227 observatories worldwide revealed an object that ignored the expected effects of massive outgassing. The Webb Space Telescope recorded 3IATLAS ejecting 150 kilos of material per second at 440 ms forces that should have nudged it off course according to Newton's laws. Yet its path remained a perfect gravitational arc, unaffected by forces that should have been undeniable. Dr. Maria Gonzalez, a celestial mechanics expert at the European Space Agency, confronted this paradox at an emergency International Astronomical Union meeting. If an object loses mass asymmetrically at this rate, conservation of momentum demands a trajectory shift, she said. The absence of such changes suggests either our physics is wrong, or we're witnessing technology that defies it. The calculations pointed to an unthinkable conclusion. 3IATLAS's minimum mass was 33 billion tons, equivalent to a small moon, compressed into a 5.12 kilometers object, with a density rivaling neutron star material. Dr. James Mitchell, an MIT materials physicist specializing in extreme matter, states conducted a frantic 72-hour analysis, concluding that no natural substance could sustain such compression in interplanetary conditions. We're looking at exotic matter or engineering beyond our wildest theories, he reported. The density implies an internal architecture pushing the limits of matter organization. Even more baffling, 3IATLAS exhibited no detectable gravitational influence on nearby asteroids or spacecraft, suggesting it was masking its gravitational signature, a feat implying control over one of nature's fundamental forces. Dr. Sarah Kim, a Caltech astrophysicist, published a chilling analysis of what gravitational manipulation might mean. This technology could reshape matter at the atomic level, alter planetary orbits, or harness energy sources dwarfing our own. She wrote her paper sparking sleepless nights among defense analysts. The implications for global security were staggering. Military strategists modeled scenarios where 3IATLAS could disrupt satellite orbits, cripple communications, or manipulate tidal forces. Traditional defense systems seem futile against such capabilities. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, designed for asteroid threats, pivoted to monitor an object that defied all conventional risk models. The European Space Agency's emergency session on space situational awareness, shrouded in secrecy, reportedly drafted contingency plans for contact with technology millennia ahead of humanity's. Public reaction was a mix of awe and panic. Social media platforms buckled under discussions of gravity control and exotic matter, with 33 billion tons trending globally. Citizen scientists using publicly available data confirmed the trajectory analysis, creating a rare consensus across amateur and professional lines. Dr. Lisa Park's follow-up MIT study explored the engineering required for such a mass. Containing exotic matter demands subatomic to macroscopic control of electromagnetic fields and quantum states, she wrote. This suggests a technological mastery approaching the absolute limits of physical law. The gap between human and 3IATLAS's creators wasn't just technological, it was a chasm in understanding reality itself. Religious communities faced a theological crisis. The ability to manipulate gravity challenged notions of divine creation. Some leaders saw 3IATLAS as a divine instrument, others as a test of faith. The Vatican's call for calm reflection did little to stem debates about whether such technology blurred the line between creator and creation. Meanwhile, the object's relentless approach continued, its structures growing and signals intensifying post-CME. Amateur radio operators reported new transmission patterns suggesting 3IATLAS was activating dormant systems, possibly scanning Earth's technological infrastructure. The CME collision had already proven 3IATLAS's ability to harness stellar energy, but its gravitational defiance elevated it to a new level of existential threat or opportunity. Governments struggling to manage public perception activated long-dormant protocols, while intelligence agencies redirected deep space networks to hunt for undetected probes. As October 2025 deepened, 3IATLAS loomed closer, its 33 billion-ton nightmare defying physics and forcing humanity to confront a reality where it was no longer the apex intelligence. With Dr. Avi Loeb's probe deployment window nearing, the world held its breath, wondering whether 3IATLAS would unveil a new era of discovery or a challenge humanity was utterly unprepared to face. The revelation of 3IATLAS's 33 billion-ton mass defying gravitational norms and hinting at exotic matter manipulation plunged humanity into a crisis of comprehension and security. The Vatican's statement affirming divine creation's vast possibilities while asserting spiritual authority over technological marvels offered little solace to religious communities wrestling with the implications of an intelligence wielding near godlike capabilities. Other faiths scrambled to forge new theological frameworks, questioning whether 3IATLAS represented a divine envoy or a challenge to sacred doctrines. Intelligence agencies accustomed to assessing terrestrial threats found their models obsolete against technology capable of gravitational control and matter engineering. Traditional espionage was irrelevant when facing an entity that could rewrite the rules of physics. Dr. Robert Chen, a Caltech energy systems specialist, added a chilling dimension with his analysis of 3IATLAS's power requirements. His calculations suggested the object might be tapping quantum vacuum energy, the fundamental energy permeating empty space. The energy density needed for its observed capabilities dwarfs anything we can imagine, Chen wrote. This implies access to sources we can barely theorize, let alone harness. Such a capability would render 3IATLAS effectively immortal, operating indefinitely without external fuel. The mass analysis further revealed that this immense density was not uniform, but concentrated in regions corresponding to the object's growing structure, suggesting real-time redistribution of exotic matter to support specific functions, a feat akin to manipulating reality itself. Amateur radio operators reported escalating signal complexity post-mass revelation, with transmissions resembling systematic tests of communication protocols. The timing suggested 3IATLAS was aware of humanity's growing understanding, adjusting its behavior as if monitoring our analytical progress. This raised a haunting possibility: the object wasn't just studying Earth's technological infrastructure, but actively tracking our scientific advancements, posing unprecedented challenges for information security. The 33 billion-ton nightmare cemented 3IATLAS as proof of an intelligence so advanced that the line between technology and natural law blurred, forcing humanity to confront its own cosmic insignificance. On October 29, 2025, 3IATLAS reached perihelion, vanishing behind the sun's blinding disk for 6 weeks in what became known as the solar blackout. Dr. Jennifer Walsh at the Space Telescope Science Institute voiced the astronomical community's dread during a final press briefing. "We're losing visual contact with the most significant object ever detected," she said. "For nearly a month and a half, we'll be blind to whatever 3IATLAS is doing." Unlike routine solar conjunctions of planets like Mars or Venus, this blackout felt ominous. The object's demonstrated ability to grow structures, harness CME energy, and defy physics suggested it might exploit this period for covert operations. Dr. Avi Loeb's mothership theory had pinpointed perihelion as the ideal moment for probe deployment hidden by solar interference, a prediction now looming large. The blackout intensified global anxiety. Citizen scientists led by figures like Marcus Rodriguez continued analyzing archived data, but the inability to observe 3IATLAS in real time fueled speculation. Social media buzzed with theories of probe launches or system activations, while Taka's solar blackout trended alongside 33 billion tons, Governments unable to monitor the object accelerated contingency planning. Military strategists modeled scenarios where 3IATLAS could deploy probes or manipulate Earth's environment undetected. Space agencies repositioned satellites to maximize post-blackout observations, but the uncertainty gnawed at global leaders. Religious communities already shaken debated whether the blackout was a divine test or a prelude to revelation. As 3IATLAS operated unseen, its prior actions, energy absorption signal targeting, and gravitational defiance suggested intentional design. The possibility that it had planned its perihelion passage for maximum concealment deepened the sense of vulnerability. With the blackout stretching into December, humanity awaited the object's re-emergence, bracing for a new chapter in a saga that had already redefined our place in the cosmos. The solar blackout that began on October 29, 2025, cast 3IATLAS into a 6-week veil of invisibility, amplifying global tension to unprecedented levels. Dr. Sarah Kim's classified Caltech report, later leaked, painted a chilling picture. The blackout's electromagnetic interference provided perfect cover for any activity probe deployment trajectory shifts or reconnaissance, rendering 3IATLAS undetectable. If it's hostile, this is its window to prepare, she wrote. If it's scientific, it's likely collecting data we'll never see. The ambiguity fueled dread among space agencies and intelligence organizations who faced a threat no protocol had anticipated. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, designed for asteroid tracking, scrambled to adapt, activating military-grade deep space networks to catch any stray signals. The European Space Agency burned precious satellite fuel to reposition assets, sacrificing their lifespans for a slim chance at partial observation. Roscosmos, shrouded in secrecy, expressed private concerns about potential trajectory changes, which would confirm active propulsion and intelligent control. China's National Space Administration shared precise re-emergence predictions, setting a global timeline to detect any course alterations. Amateur astronomers led by Marcus Rodriguez refused to sit idle. His Arizona-based network, now spanning 6 continents, mobilized thousands to monitor the sun's corona for indirect signs of 3IATLAS's activity. We can't see it directly, but we might catch its effects, Rodriguez told 12 million viewers in a viral video. This citizen-led effort, blending hobbyists with professional solar physicists, flooded institutions like the National Solar Observatory with unprecedented data, much of it from novices newly focused on the sun. Dr. Lisa Santos, overwhelmed by the influx, noted, "We're getting more solar data than ever, mostly from people who've never studied the sun before." The blackout's psychological toll was profound. Social media buzzed with speculation from probe launches to apocalyptic scenarios, with solar blackout trending alongside 33 billion tons. Anxiety support groups swelled as contact anxiety gripped millions, while religious communities held global prayer services interpreting the blackout as a divine test. Stock markets swung wildly, with tech firms soaring on hopes of alien tech breakthroughs, and defense contractors grappling with their obsolescence against gravity-manipulating technology. Governments bracing for unrest crafted communication strategies to counter inevitable conspiracy theories, but the absence of data left them vulnerable. The 33 billion-ton revelation deepened the crisis. Dr. Robert Chen's quantum vacuum energy hypothesis suggested 3IATLAS powered its godlike capabilities. Gravitational control, exotic matter engineering, by tapping the fundamental energy of space itself. This implies an immortal system, he wrote, operating without limits we can comprehend. The object's non-uniform mass distribution, concentrated around its growing structures, hinted at real-time matter manipulation, as if 3IATLAS reshaped itself to suit evolving objectives. Post-mass revelation, amateur radio operators detected increasingly complex signals suggesting the object was testing Earth's communication protocols and possibly monitoring our analytical progress. This raised a chilling prospect. 3IATLAS wasn't just studying humanity, it was adapting to our understanding of it. Dr. Elena Vasquez, whose seminal paper first flagged 3IATLAS's anomalies, faced the blackout with frustration. "We've proven its intelligence," she told reporters, "but now it's acting unseen, and we're powerless to observe its most critical phase." The international space community, spurred by the crisis, adopted unprecedented data-sharing protocols, ensuring even faint detections were circulated instantly. This cooperation, unthinkable in Cold War times, underscored the magnitude of the threat. Intelligence agencies braced for what they called the longest blind spot in surveillance history, redirecting every available resource to prepare for 3I-ATLAS's reemergence. As the blackout stretched into December, humanity waited caught between hope for a scientific breakthrough and fear of an existential reckoning. The objects demonstrated mastery, defying gravity, harnessing stellar energy, and targeting Earth with precision, suggested an intelligence so advanced it blurred the line between technology and divinity. With the re-emergent state looming, the world stood poised for answers or perhaps questions too vast to fathom. The solar blackout that enveloped 3I-ATLAS on October 29, 2025, plunged humanity into a state of unprecedented uncertainty, amplifying fears and speculation about the object's intentions. Dr. Sarah Kim's leaked Caltech report underscored the blackout's strategic significance, noting that the sun's electromagnetic interference provided a perfect cloak for activities like probe deployment or trajectory shifts. This period offers unparalleled operational secrecy, she wrote, outlining scenarios ranging from hostile preparations to intensive scientific data collection. The ambiguity paralyzed space agencies and intelligence organizations who grappled with a threat or opportunity beyond any existing framework. NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office, accustomed to tracking inert asteroids, activated military-grade deep space networks, while the European Space Agency and Roscosmos burned satellite fuel to maintain partial monitoring, a costly gamble reflecting their desperation. China's shared re-emergence prediction set a tense global countdown, with any deviation signaling intelligent control. Amateur astronomers led by Marcus Rodriguez refused to be sidelined. His global network, now millions strong, turned to solar observation, hunting for indirect signs of 3I-ATLAS's activity. "We're watching the sun for ripples of its presence," Rodriguez told 12 million viewers as amateurs and professionals alike flooded institutions with data. Dr. Lisa Santos at the National Solar Observatory marveled at the volume, largely from novices pivoting to solar study. Radio operators anticipating faint signals established rigorous listening protocols, reporting ambiguous background patterns in the days before the blackout, possible signs of 3I-ATLAS testing systems for hidden operations. The final pre-blackout images captured by amateurs and observatories revealed 3I-ATLAS's dramatic transformation. Its growing structures, now unmistakably technological, suggested ongoing enhancements. Dr. Robert Kim's Stanford analysis, applying game theory, argued the blackout's timing was no accident. An advanced intelligence would exploit this period's psychological impact, he wrote, suggesting 3I-ATLAS's creators understood the chaos uncertainty would unleash. Whether hostile or benign, the blackout's strategic value seemed deliberate, amplifying humanity's vulnerability. Public anxiety skyrocketed. Social media, overwhelmed by either solar blackout posts, fueled speculation from probe invasions to peaceful science missions. Religious communities grappling with 3I-ATLAS's godlike capabilities held global prayer vigils, interpreting the blackout as a divine trial. The Vatican's call for calm clashed with faiths struggling to reconcile doctrine with technology, blurring the line between creation and creator. Stock markets oscillated wildly, with tech and defense sectors riding waves of speculation. Governments bracing for unrest deployed communication strategies to counter conspiracies, but the absence of data left them exposed. Educational campaigns explained solar conjunctions, yet no reassurance could quell the dread of 3I-ATLAS operating unseen. Dr. James Chen's trajectory analysis, completed just before the blackout, added a final layer of awe and unease. His MIT team's calculations, based on months of data, revealed 3I-ATLAS's path was no random wander. Approaching Venus, Mars, and Jupiter with uncanny precision. 0.2, 19, and 0.36 astronomical units respectively, the object executed a reconnaissance mission rivaling the best human spacecraft. Chen's statistical analysis was merciless. The probability of such alignments by chance was 0.005%. "You're more likely to be struck by lightning while winning 3 lotteries," he told a classified briefing for NASA. The Department of Defense and the National Science Foundation. The Venus flyby on October 15th enabled surface and atmospheric mapping. The Mars encounter on October 3rd allowed geological surveys without capture risk, and the Jupiter flyby set for March 16, 2026, showcased unparalleled navigational finesse leveraging the planet's gravity for optimal data collection. This 0.005% coincidence suggested an intelligence with intimate knowledge of solar system dynamics executing a mission with deliberate intent. As 3I-ATLAS vanished behind the Sun, its 33 billion-ton mass quantum energy capabilities and evolving structures loomed large. The blackout became a test of humanity's resilience, forcing a reckoning with an intelligence whose motives, scientific, strategic, or existential, remained hidden, waiting to be revealed when the object re-emerged in December. The trajectory of 3I-ATLAS with its pinpoint precision revealed a level of mission planning that left even seasoned experts in awe and apprehension. Dr. Sarah Mitchell, NASA's Director of Mission Planning, who had orchestrated trajectories for countless robotic missions, found herself studying 3I-ATLAS's path with a mix of professional admiration and growing dread. "This surpasses our best efforts," she confided in leaked internal NASA discussions. "The energy efficiency, scientific optimization, and gravitational assist utilization suggest either cosmic luck or deliberate design beyond our capabilities." The object's approach to Jupiter at 0.3 astronomical units, set for March 16, 2026, was a masterclass in orbital mechanics, allowing detailed study of the gas giant's atmosphere, magnetic fields, and moons, while leveraging Jupiter's gravity for an optimal exit trajectory from the solar system. This precision extended beyond major planetary encounters. Dr. James Chen's MIT team found that 3I-ATLAS's path offered ideal observation windows for the asteroid belt, Kuiper belt objects, and smaller solar system bodies, maximizing data collection with minimal energy expenditure and detection risk. The object's approach vector originating from the Sagittarius constellation toward the galactic center was equally telling. Dr. Maria Santos at UC Berkeley modeled visibility conditions, concluding that this path minimized early detection by blending with the dense star field. "It remained invisible until reaching Jupiter's orbit," she wrote, "giving us only months to observe before the solar blackout, creating maximum uncertainty." The timing coinciding with minimal solar activity and favorable planetary alignments further suggested meticulous planning, as if 3I-ATLAS's creators knew the solar system's dynamics intimately. Dr. Robert Kim's Stanford analysis, applying game theory, framed the trajectory as a strategic intelligence operation. "The path reflects operational security awareness rivaling elite military reconnaissance," he wrote. "The approach vector timing and planetary sequence maximize information gathering while limiting our response time. The object's rotation and structural orientation optimize stability and potential solar energy use, hinting at engineering precision down to the smallest details." These findings transformed 3I-ATLAS from a scientific curiosity into a potential security threat. Intelligence agencies worldwide shifted to treating it as a strategic adversary, recognizing that its navigational mastery implied deep knowledge of human surveillance capabilities. Amateur astronomers using public orbital data independently verified Chen's calculations, confirming the 0.005% probability of such a trajectory occurring by chance. Their consensus, spanning thousands of global contributors, underscored the object's deliberate path. The implications were chilling. If hostile 3I-ATLAS could assess humanity's technological capacity and vanish before countermeasures were possible. If benign, it was conducting a scientific survey with unparalleled efficiency. Either way, its capabilities, evidenced by its 33 billion-ton mass gravitational masking and CME energy absorption, suggested an intelligence far beyond human reach. As 3I-ATLAS disappeared into the solar blackout on October 29, 2025, the world grappled with its absence. The 6-week period of invisibility cloaked by solar interference heightened fears of covert operations as Dr. Avi Loeb's probe. Deployment theory loomed large. Religious communities still reeling from the object's godlike technology held vigils, while the Vatican's call for calm clashed with debates over divine versus alien authority. Stock markets fluctuated wildly and governments braced for unrest, their contingency plans strained by the lack of data. Amateur radio operators led by Marcus Rodriguez intensified signal monitoring, detecting faint patterns hinting at ongoing activity. The blackout, whether a strategic move or an orbital coincidence, tested humanity's resilience, leaving the world to await 3IATLAS's re-emergence in December, potentially transformed, and carrying answers to questions too vast to fathom. The trajectory of 3IATLAS, with its 0.005% probability of random occurrence, unveiled a chilling precision that suggested an intelligence operating on scales incomprehensible to humanity. Dr. James Chen's MIT analysis revealed a path so optimized it bordered on artistry, as Dr. Jennifer Walsh at the Space Telescope Science Institute noted, likening it to a classical music composition. "There's an aesthetic quality to this trajectory," she said in a philosophical presentation. "Its navigation is an art form reflecting an intelligence that finds beauty in celestial mechanics. This elegance, coupled with the object's 33 billion-ton mass quantum energy use and gravitational masking, hinted at a consciousness blending technological supremacy with an almost poetic sensibility, unsettling religious and scientific communities alike. Some religious leaders saw divine inspiration in the trajectory's harmony, while others grappled with the spiritual implications of an intelligence surpassing human understanding in both technology and aesthetics. Dr. Lisa Park's MIT calculations underscored the staggering endurance of 3IATLAS's creators. Backtracking its path suggested a million-year journey, implying technology with self-repair capabilities or energy sources, possibly quantum vacuum energy, that could operate indefinitely. "This treats million-year missions as routine," Park wrote, suggesting a technological maturity approaching physical limits. Such strategic patience dwarfed human planning horizons, raising profound questions about the motives behind a mission spanning geological time. Military strategists grappling with this found traditional defense models obsolete against an entity with such temporal and technological advantages. The object's path exploited gaps in human surveillance, arriving from Sagittarius to evade early detection and timing its approach to minimize observation windows. Dr. Robert Kim's game theory analysis framed it as a calculated intelligence operation designed to assess humanity's capabilities while remaining elusive. Amateur radio operators reported signals correlating with each planetary approach, suggesting active data collection and transmission, reinforcing the view of 3IATLAS as a systematic reconnaissance mission. These findings, validated by global citizen scientists, confirmed a deliberate, intelligence-driven operation. As 3IATLAS vanished into the solar blackout on October 29, 2025, the scientific community fractured over the dark forest hypothesis popularized by Liu Cixin and applied to 3IATLAS by Dr. Adam Hibbard, Dr. Adam Krah, and Dr. Avi Loeb. Their paper argued that the object's stealthy approach and precise trajectory aligned with a civilization practicing extreme caution or hostility toward unknown intelligences. 3IATLAS's behavior suggests reconnaissance preceding either peaceful contact or preemptive threat elimination. Hibbard wrote, outlining scenarios where humanity might be assessed for annihilation. This sparked a fierce academic war, with traditionalists like Dr. Margaret Thompson of NASA decrying the hypothesis as reckless speculation. "The evidence doesn't support claims of hostile intent," she stated publicly, though. Leaked NASA documents revealed contingency plans for alien contact, undermining her stance. The debate split the astronomical community. Traditionalists clung to natural explanations, while a growing faction bolstered by the object's undeniable anomalies. CME energy absorption, gravitational defiance, and targeted signals embraced the possibility of artificial intelligence. Social media amplified the divide, with X6 dark forest trending alongside 33 billion tons, as citizen scientists led by Marcus Rodriguez continued verifying professional analyses. Rodriguez, now a global figure, emphasized, "We're documenting intelligence on a scale we've never seen. This isn't just a space object, it's a mission." The blackout heightened fears of covert operations, with Dr. Sarah Kim's leaked report warning of undetectable probe deployments. Religious communities held vigils, wrestling with an intelligence that seemed both divine and alien. Governments bracing for unrest struggled to counter conspiracies, while markets fluctuated wildly. As 3IATLAS operated unseen its million-year journey, artistic trajectory, and godlike technology forced humanity to confront a reality where it was no longer the apex intelligence awaiting a re-emergence that could redefine existence itself. The solar blackout of 3I-ATLAS on October 29, 2025, plunged humanity into a 6-week abyss of uncertainty, intensifying the academic warfare that had erupted over the object's nature. The dark forest hypothesis, championed by Dr. Adam Hibbard, Dr. Adam Cry, and Dr. Avi Loeb, posited that 3I-ATLAS's stealthy trajectory and technological feats suggested a civilization approaching humanity with caution or hostility. Their paper framing the object's behavior as strategic reconnaissance sparked a schism in the scientific community. Traditionalists led by NASA's Dr. Margaret Thompson decried it as reckless speculation, insisting the evidence supported natural phenomena. Yet leaked NASA documents revealed the agency was quietly preparing for dark forest scenarios, undermining public dismissals and fueling accusations of institutional duplicity. Dr. Elena Vasquez, whose seminal trajectory analysis first hinted at artificial intelligence, urged caution in a rare public appearance. "The data shows intelligence but not necessarily hostility," she said. "We must separate evidence from speculation, even if both challenge our cosmic assumptions." The debate transcended scientific interpretation, igniting battles over responsibility and public communication. Younger researchers, less tethered to institutional constraints, advocated open discussion of all possibilities, including hostile intent. Senior scientists like Thompson favored measured uncertainty to avoid panic. Dr. Sarah Kim at Caltech carved a middle path, acknowledging 3I-ATLAS's superior technology, while questioning human-centric motives like hostility or benevolence. "We're facing an intelligence that may not fit our categories of friend or foe," she wrote, drawing support from interdisciplinary fields. Anthropologists, psychologists, and philosophers joined the fray, challenging astronomers' assumptions. Dr. Maria Santos, blending astronomy and cognitive science at UC Berkeley, argued that human frameworks for understanding alien motives were likely futile. "These minds evolved under alien conditions, possibly with logic we can't grasp," she wrote. "The dark forest hypothesis assumes human-like strategic thinking, which may be entirely invalid." Religious scholars added further complexity. The Vatican's Pontifical Academy of Sciences emphasized divine authority over any technology, but other faiths struggled to adapt. Some saw 3I-ATLAS as a divine envoy, others as a test of faith, prompting new theological frameworks to address a near-godlike intelligence. Social media amplified the academic war, with Twitter exchanges turning vitriolic enough to prompt university statements on professional conduct. Algorithms boosted dramatic debates, eroding public trust in experts as citizen scientists like Marcus Rodriguez took sides. Rodriguez, now a global figure, declared, "We're documenting intelligence on scales we've never seen. This is a mission, not a comet." His network, blending amateurs and professionals, verified the 0.005% trajectory probability, reinforcing 3I-ATLAS's deliberate path. The 33 billion-ton mass revelation, coupled with quantum vacuum energy use and gravitational masking, suggested technology approaching physical limits. Dr. Robert Chen's Caltech analysis posited that 3I-ATLAS tapped fundamental space-time energy, rendering it functionally immortal. Its non-uniform mass distribution, aligned with growing structures, implied real-time matter manipulation, as if reshaping itself for evolving tasks. Amateur radio operators detected escalating signal complexity, suggesting the object was adapting to humanity's scrutiny, possibly monitoring our analytical progress. This raised chilling prospects of an intelligence aware of our capabilities, conducting a systematic survey of Earth's technological and population centers. Military strategists like Colonel Janet Rodriguez at the Department of Defense treated 3I-ATLAS as a potential threat regardless of intent. Her declassified assessment focused on its capabilities: CME energy absorption, gravitational control, and precision navigation, arguing they outstripped human defenses by orders of magnitude. "Whether scientific or hostile, prudent planning demands preparation for worst-case scenarios," she wrote. Intelligence agencies recruited academics for classified analyses, creating a shadow research network outside peer review. The blackout cloaking 3I-ATLAS in solar interference heightened fears of covert probe deployment, as Dr. Avi Loeb's mothership theory predicted. Dr. Sarah Kim's leaked report warned of undetectable activities from reconnaissance to trajectory shifts amplifying global unease. Public anxiety surged with the Chaitkert dark forest and Chait's solar blackout dominating social media. Religious vigils multiplied, stock markets swung, and governments braced for unrest, their communication strategies faltering against rampant conspiracies. Amateur astronomers led by Rodriguez monitored the sun for secondary effects while radio operators hunted for faint signals detecting ambiguous patterns hinting at ongoing operations. The blackout's strategic timing, whether deliberate or coincidental, tested humanity's cohesion, forcing a confrontation with an intelligence whose elegance, evident in its trajectory's artistic precision, blurred the line between technology and divinity. As December's re-emergence loomed, the world awaited a transformed 3IATLAS poised to redefine humanity's place in the cosmos, or challenge its very survival. The solar blackout of 3IATLAS beginning October 29, 2025, cast humanity into a 6-week void of uncertainty, intensifying an already fractious academic war over the object's nature and intentions. The dark forest hypothesis advanced by Dr. Adam Hibbard, Dr. Adam Croy, and Dr. Avi Loeb framed 3IATLAS's stealthy trajectory and godlike capabilities, 33 billion-ton mass gravitational masking quantum energy use, as evidence of a civilization approaching with extreme caution or potential hostility. Their paper suggested the object was conducting reconnaissance, possibly assessing humanity for peaceful contact or preemptive elimination. This sparked a fierce backlash from traditionalists like Dr. Margaret Thompson of NASA, who publicly dismissed it as irresponsible speculation unsupported by evidence. Yet leaked NASA documents reveal the agency was quietly developing defensive protocols for dark forest scenarios, exposing a rift between public rhetoric and private planning. The contradiction fueled public distrust with social media, amplifying accusations of institutional cover-ups. Dr. Elena Vasquez, whose initial trajectory analysis first hinted at artificial intelligence, navigated a tightrope. The data confirms intelligence but not necessarily hostility, she said in a rare interview, urging a distinction between evidence and speculation. Younger researchers unburdened by institutional ties pushed for open discussion of all scenarios, including hostile ones, while senior scientists advocated caution to avoid panic. Dr. Sarah Kim at Caltech sought a middle ground, arguing that 3IATLAS's advanced technology, evident in its CME energy absorption and matter manipulation, might operate on principles rendering human motives like friend or foe irrelevant. "We're dealing with minds that may not think like us," she wrote, gaining support from interdisciplinary scholars. Dr. Maria Santos, at UC Berkeley, blending astronomy and cognitive science, warned that human frameworks were ill-equipped to interpret alien logic. The dark forest hypothesis assumes human-like strategy which may be entirely wrong, she wrote, highlighting the limits of anthropocentric assumptions. Religious communities grappled with existential questions. The Vatican's Pontifical Academy of Sciences emphasized divine authority over any technology. But other faiths struggled to reconcile doctrines with an intelligence wielding near-divine powers. Some saw 3IATLAS's elegant trajectory, described by Dr. Jennifer Walsh as a symphony of orbital mechanics, as evidence of divine inspiration. Others viewed it as a spiritual test. Social media battles fueled by algorithms amplifying drama eroded trust in experts as citizen scientists like Marcus Rodriguez took center stage. "We're documenting intelligence on cosmic scales," Rodriguez told millions, his global network verifying the 0.05% trajectory probability, reinforcing 3IATLAS's deliberate mission. The blackout cloaking 3IATLAS in solar interference heightened fears of covert operations. Dr. Sarah Kim's leaked report warned of undetectable probe deployments or trajectory shifts, aligning with Dr. Avi Loeb's mothership theory. Intelligence agencies facing technology that defied traditional threat models recruited academics for classified analyses, fragmenting the scientific community. Dr. Robert Kim at Stanford, declining a classified role, criticized this secrecy. "Science thrives on open debate," he said in a controversial interview. "Classifying research risks conflating evidence with fear-driven speculation." His stance drew support from those wary of militarization, but criticism from others who saw secrecy as necessary for sensitive implications. The October 3rd Mars flyby offered a critical opportunity to observe 3IATLAS's capabilities. Dr. Sarah Chen, coordinating NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, led an unprecedented multi-nation observation campaign involving 6 Mars missions, 2 rovers, and deep space telescopes. "This is our best chance to study its technology in action," she told a briefing with NASA, ESA Roscosmos, and China's National Space Administration. The ESA's Mars Express, repositioned for optimal viewing, aimed to capture 30 km resolution images of 3IATLAS's structures, while its spectrometers analyzed emissions. NASA's high-rise camera, capable of resolving 3-meter features, promised the clearest views yet of the object's evolving technology. Russia's Dr. Dmitry Volkov committed ground-based telescopes to complement orbital data, emphasizing global cooperation. "No nation can understand this alone," he said. China's Tianwen-1 orbiter and Zhurong rover filled observational gaps, their transparency reflecting the crisis's magnitude. As 3IATLAS approached Mars at 0.19 astronomical units, its trajectory optimized for geological surveys without capture risk, suggested a deliberate reconnaissance mission. Amateur radio operators reported signals correlating with the flyby, hinting at active data collection. The international collaboration sharing real-time data marked a historic shift from competitive space exploration. Yet the looming blackout cast a shadow, with fears that 3IATLAS's unseen actions could transform it further. Religious vigils, market volatility, and public anxiety surged while governments braced for unrest. As the object's million-year journey, artistic trajectory, and unmatched technology converged, humanity faced a pivotal moment, awaiting its re-emergence to reveal whether it heralded enlightenment or existential peril. The Mars flyby of 3IATLAS on October 3, 2025 marked a historic moment as humanity's collective gaze turned to an interstellar visitor conducting what appeared to be a meticulously planned reconnaissance of another planet. This unprecedented event saw 6 active Mars missions, 2 surface rovers, and a global array of deep space telescopes and radio observatories unite in a coordinated effort to capture every detail of 3IATLAS's actions. Dr. Sarah Chen, Mission Operations Director for NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, orchestrated this complex campaign involving NASA, ESA Roscosmos, and China's National Space Administration. "We have an unparalleled observation window," Chen told a pre-flyby briefing attended by International Space Agency representatives. "This is our chance to decode 3IATLAS's technological capabilities and intentions as it engages with Mars." The European Space Agency's Mars Express, repositioned for optimal viewing, aimed its high-resolution stereo camera and spectrometers to capture 30 km resolution images of 3IATLAS's evolving structures. Dr. Angela Martinez, the mission's principal investigator, explained, "We'll resolve individual components and monitor their activity during the flyby, potentially revealing specific reconnaissance behaviors." NASA's high-rise camera, reconfigured for the event, promised to capture 3-meter resolution details, offering the clearest view yet of the object's technology. Dr. James Wilson at the University of Arizona, overseeing high-rise, emphasized, "If there are artificial systems or surface modifications, we'll document them with unprecedented clarity." China's Tianwen-1 orbiter and Zhurong rover, alongside Russia's ground-based telescopes, filled observational gaps, reflecting a rare level of international transparency driven by the crisis's magnitude. Amateur astronomers led by Marcus Rodriguez played a critical role, their global network providing independent verification despite resolution limitations. "We're not just tracking a space object," Rodriguez said in a video, "Update to millions. We're documenting intelligence operating on cosmic scales." Deep space tracking networks, typically used for spacecraft navigation and asteroid monitoring, were repurposed to focus on 3IATLAS, while radio telescopes under Dr. Frank Wilson's direction at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory monitored the entire electromagnetic spectrum. "If 3IATLAS communicates during the Mars approach, we'll catch it," Wilson assured a multinational coordination meeting. The flyby was both a scientific and strategic milestone. Military analysts prepared to evaluate 3IATLAS's scanning patterns for signs of intelligence-gathering intent, while Dr. Lisa Park at MIT developed behavioral analysis protocols to interpret its operational priorities. By studying how it allocates time and resources, we can infer its objectives, Park explained. A peaceful mission might involve non-intrusive data collection akin to human probes, while hostile reconnaissance could reveal aggressive scanning or technological displays. Dr. Robert Kim at Stanford designed protocols to detect if 3IATLAS adjusted its behavior in response to human observation, a sign of advanced situational awareness. If it's as intelligent as we suspect, it knows we're watching, he said. The event's psychological and cultural impact was profound. Religious communities held global prayer services, viewing the flyby as a moment of cosmic reckoning. The Vatican urged calm, but other faiths grappled with an intelligence blurring the line between technology and divinity. Media outlets planned wall-to-wall coverage, with billions expected to follow via social media, making it the most watched scientific event in history. Public anxiety, already heightened by the solar blackout looming on October 29th, surged with Laker Mars flyby trending alongside 33 billion tons. Stock markets fluctuated and governments braced for unrest, their communication strategies strained by rampant speculation. The academic war over 3IATLAS intensified, with the dark forest hypothesis splitting the community. Dr. Elena Vasquez urged evidence-based restraint, while Dr. Sarah Kim and Dr. Maria Santos challenged anthropocentric interpretations, drawing interdisciplinary support. Classified research programs recruiting academics like Dr. Robert Kim, who declined to preserve open discourse, further fractured the community. Kim's public criticism of secrecy, arguing it blurred evidence and fear, drew both praise and backlash. The 33 billion ton mass quantum energy use and trajectory precision optimized for Venus, Mars, and Jupiter encounters suggested a million-year mission of staggering patience and artistry, as Dr. Jennifer Walsh likened its path to a celestial symphony. As 3IATLAS approached Mars, its signals intensified, correlating with planetary proximity, hinting at active data collection. The flyby promised to reveal whether it was a benign explorer or a strategic threat, but with the blackout approaching, humanity knew these insights might be its last before 3IATLAS vanished, potentially emerging transformed. The world watched, torn between awe and dread, awaiting revelations that could redefine its cosmic place or signal an existential challenge. On October 2nd, Dr. Jennifer Walsh, analyzing Hubble Space Telescope images, faced a crisis of her own. After 6 hours of scrutiny, she realized 3IATLAS's surface anomaly structures, defying cometary physics, challenged everything she knew, setting the stage for a new chapter in the unfolding saga. The Hubble Space Telescope's images of 3IATLAS, captured on July 21, 2025, at a distance of 2,087 million miles from Earth, unveiled a phenomenon that defied the fundamental principles of cometary physics: an anti-tail structure with its dust trail pointing toward the sun, an orientation deemed impossible by natural processes. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, senior imaging specialist at the Space Telescope Science Institute, had spent decades analyzing comet tails, which form when solar radiation pushes dust and gas away from the nucleus in the opposite direction of the sun. Yet 3IATLAS's teardrop-shaped dust cocoon, with its broad end facing the sun and narrow end trailing behind, suggested active control rather than passive sublimation. This configuration is gravitationally and aerodynamically impossible, Walsh declared at an emergency briefing. It implies technology manipulating fundamental forces on a scale we've never seen. Dr. Sarah Mitchell at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, tasked with finding natural explanations, exhausted every possibility: solar-wind interactions, electromagnetic effects, gravitational anomalies, exotic sublimation, only to conclude in a leaked report that no known process could account for the anti-tail. "We've ruled out every natural mechanism," she wrote. The implications were staggering. Sustaining such a structure against solar radiation pressure required real-time force management of extraordinary sophistication, hinting at advanced engineering. Amateur astronomer Carlos Mendez, using a modest Chilean observatory, independently confirmed the anti-tail, with images that went viral, amassing 20 million views in a week. "I know comet tails," Mendez said in his YouTube commentary. This isn't natural, it's something actively shaping its environment. His findings, replicated by other amateurs, obliterated NASA's attempts to classify the data, exposing the futility of controlling information in an era of democratized observation. Dr. Robert Kim at Stanford calculated the energy required for such a feat, estimating that 3IATLAS expended power akin to small nuclear reactors to maintain the anti-tail against natural forces. This is active engineering of the local space environment, he wrote, counteracting solar radiation, gravity, and electromagnetic effects across millions of cubic kilometers. Combined with the object's 33 billion ton mass quantum vacuum energy use and gravitational masking, the anti-tail suggested capabilities so vast they bordered on the supernatural. Religious communities grappled with this, some seeing divine artistry in the dust configuration, others questioning the spiritual implications of an intelligence reshaping matter for aesthetic purposes. The Vatican statement affirming divine creativity over all intelligences did little to quell debates about whether 3IATLAS blurred the line between technology and divinity. The anti-tail revelation intensified the academic war over the dark force hypothesis. Dr. Elena Vasquez, caught between transparency and institutional pressure, advocated for open discourse. The data screams intelligence, but we can't leap to hostility, she said, resisting calls to suppress findings. Dr. Sarah Kim's middle ground, acknowledging advanced technology while questioning human-centric motives, gained traction among interdisciplinary scholars, but clashed with traditionalists like Dr. Margaret Thompson, who insisted on natural explanations despite NASA's covert contingency planning. Leaked communications revealed NASA's internal debates, with some officials pushing transparency and others fearing social instability. The democratization of data, driven by amateurs like Marcus Rodriguez, rendered these efforts moot as citizen scientists matched professional analyses. The Mars flyby on October 3, 2025 became humanity's best chance to probe 3IATLAS's intentions. Dr. Sarah Chen coordinated a global campaign involving 6 Mars missions rovers and telescopes, with ESA's Mars Express capturing 30-kilometer resolution images and NASA's HiRISE resolving 3-meter details. Dr. Lisa Park's behavioral protocols analyzed the object's operational patterns, while Dr. Robert Kim watched for signs of awareness of human observation. Amateur networks, led by Rodriguez, provided backup data, while radio telescopes under Dr. Frank Wilson monitored for signals. The flyby's precision, 0.99 astronomical units, suggested deliberate reconnaissance, with signals correlating to Mars's proximity hinting at active data collection. As 3IATLAS approached the solar blackout, its anti-tail million-year journey, a navigational artistry likened by Dr. Jennifer Walsh to a celestial symphony, cemented its status as an intelligence beyond comprehension. Religious vigils, market volatility, and global anxiety surged while governments braced for the unseen. The flyby's data promised revelations, but with the blackout looming, humanity faced a cosmic reckoning, awaiting a transformed 3IATLAS that could redefine existence or challenge its survival. Her role as the lead author of the seminal 3IATLAS research thrust Vasquez into the searing spotlight of scientific ethics, making her the unwilling centerpiece of fierce debates about responsibility and public disclosure. Scientists have a duty to share their findings with the wider community, Vasquez declared during one of her increasingly rare public appearances, her voice firm. But we also bear the heavy responsibility of considering the implications of information that could trigger widespread panic. She offered a stark assessment. The anti-tail phenomenon represents a technology so fundamentally advanced that genuine public comprehension of its implications may be conceptually impossible. The anti-tail structure, far from being static, continued its unsettling evolution throughout the observation period, manifesting heightened complexity and apparent functionality that strongly suggested something beyond mere aesthetic expression. Spectroscopic analysis became a critical tool, revealing that the dust configuration's different regions were composed of distinct materials, a clear signature of systematic organization, not random cosmic emission. Dr. Maria Santos at UC Berkeley ignited further controversy with an analysis positing that the anti-tail might in fact be a sophisticated form of communication or information storage rather than simple artistic display. Her groundbreaking research highlighted that the intricate dust patterns contained precise mathematical relationships and geometric structures that appeared to encode complex data. The anti-tail configuration exhibits organizational principles that overwhelmingly point toward information content, not arbitrary artistic arrangement, Santos asserted in her widely debated analysis. We may be witnessing a mode of communication that utilizes cosmic dust as the medium for transmitting complex data across interstellar gulfs. This interpretation of information encoding introduced chilling new layers of mystery to the anti-tail, forcing humanity to confront uncomfortable questions about its capacity to even perceive, let alone comprehend alien communication methods. If 3IATLAS was indeed attempting to communicate through the deliberate manipulation of dust, current human science lacked the necessary conceptual frameworks to even begin decoding such messages. Amateur radio operators monitoring 3IATLAS added a critical piece to the puzzle, reporting the detection of electromagnetic emissions that directly correlated with changes in the anti-tail structure. This signal suggested the object was employing multiple communication methods simultaneously, perhaps an effort to contact different types of recipients using diverse technological approaches. The precise correlation between anti-tail modifications and radio emissions reinforced the chilling interpretation 3IATLAS was actively managing its environment for purposes far exceeding simple navigation or scientific study. The object appeared to be executing complex multifunctional operations in a seamless, simultaneous manner. The anti-tail phenomenon also offered a deeply unsettling insight into 3IATLAS's awareness of human observation capabilities. The structure became demonstrably more complex and visually captivating precisely as human telescopes achieved better resolution, suggesting the object was adjusting its display in direct response to improved monitoring technology. This responsiveness to human advancements raised disturbing questions about how long 3IATLAS might have been monitoring human technological development. If the object was adapting its behavior based on human observation abilities, it could have been studying terrestrial technology long before its official discovery date. Suddenly, intelligence agencies across the globe found themselves in the unprecedented position of analyzing what appeared to be artistic expression as potential intelligence data, a scenario for which no existing training had prepared them. Cryptographic specialists, military analysts, and behavioral psychologists were all tasked with examining the anti-tail structure, attempting to extract strategic intelligence from what looked like cosmic art. The Defense Intelligence Agency DIA quietly established a dedicated task force to interpret the phenomenon through the dark lenses of information warfare and psychological operations. Their classified analysis darkly suggested that 3IATLAS might be using aesthetic manipulation to demonstrate technological superiority, while simultaneously stress-testing human analytical capabilities. Colonel Sarah Martinez, who led the military's 3IATLAS assessment team, found her official reports reading more like art criticism than threat analysis. The anti-tail structure exhibits precise control over matter and energy at scales that exceed our defensive capabilities by orders of magnitude. She wrote in her classified assessment, "Whether this represents intimidation communication or simple artistic expression, the underlying technological implications are identical from a security perspective." The military's interpretation of the anti-tail as potential psychological warfare instantly injected new urgency into efforts to understand its purpose. If 3IATLAS was deliberately trying to influence human perception and behavior through displays of technological supremacy, the object represented a form of attack for which human defenses were completely unequipped. Dr. Lisa Park at MIT approached the anti-tail structure from an engineering standpoint, attempting to reverse engineer the technologies required to create and sustain such an impossible configuration. Her analysis painted a terrifying picture of capabilities that bordered on the manipulation of fundamental physical constants. Creating an anti-tail structure requires real-time manipulation of electromagnetic fields, gravitational influences, and particle interactions across volumes of space measured in millions of cubic kilometers. Park noted in her technical assessment, "The computational requirements alone suggest information processing capabilities that exceed human technology by factors we cannot accurately calculate." This computational analysis led to profound questions about 3IATLAS's information processing architecture. If the object could manage the continuous real-time calculations needed for anti-tail maintenance while simultaneously conducting reconnaissance, communication, and navigation, its computing power had to surpass human capabilities by astronomical margins. Meanwhile, amateur astronomers had mobilized, conducting their own decentralized analysis of the anti-tail structure using vast collaborative networks to track changes and patterns that official institutions might have missed. The democratization of 3IATLAS research had effectively birthed a global citizen science project that often produced insights rivaling those of official investigations. Marcus Rodriguez, whose Arizona observatory became a coordination hub for these amateur efforts, published striking time-lapse photography showing the anti-tail structure evolving in real time. His footage starkly revealed that the dust configuration was constantly self-adjusting, flawlessly maintaining precise geometric relationships despite the chaotic forces of the solar environment. "We're watching the active engineering of space itself," Rodriguez explained in his analysis videos that consistently garnered millions of views. "This isn't mere dust management, it's environmental control at a scale that makes human terraforming projects look like sandbox activities." The real-time nature of the anti-tail adjustments provided irrefutable evidence that 3IATLAS possessed response capabilities dramatically superior to human technological systems. The object was demonstrating an artificial intelligence that could process environmental changes and adjust its operations faster than human instruments could even measure the modifications. Philosophical communities worldwide had only just begun to grapple with the dizzying implications of an intelligence that chose to use cosmic dust as its artistic medium. The anti-tail structure represented a form of expression operating on such colossal scales of space and time that it utterly dwarfed human artistic traditions, demanding a fundamental reconsideration of all assumptions about creativity, intelligence, and aesthetic appreciation. Dr. Amanda Foster, a distinguished philosopher of science at Oxford University specializing in questions of xenointelligence, published a penetrating paper examining the anti-tail phenomenon through the lens of xenoaesthetics. Her analysis suggested that human attempts to interpret alien art were likely fundamentally doomed to failure, without a much deeper understanding of how non-human minds might perceive beauty and meaning. We are confronting artistic expression that operates according to aesthetic principles to which we simply cannot gain access. Foster wrote in her philosophical indictment, "The anti-tail structure may embody forms of beauty that require a different type of consciousness to fully appreciate. Our interpretation efforts may be as futile as expecting a dog to critique human poetry." This philosophical perspective injected a fresh dose of humility into scientific attempts to understand 3IATLAS simultaneously, underscoring the vast terrifying gaps in human knowledge concerning intelligence, consciousness, and aesthetic appreciation. If the anti-tail represented alien art, humanity might be witnessing masterpieces they were cognitively incapable of comprehending. Predictably, the anti-tail structure also became a lightning rod for proliferating conspiracy theories, which fused legitimate scientific concerns with wild, often apocalyptic speculation about alien intentions and global government cover-ups. Social media platforms struggled to contain discussions that chaotically mixed accurate technical analysis with increasingly dramatic theories involving mind control, dimensional manipulation, and impending cosmic warfare. The rapid proliferation of these theories was tragically fueled by the fact that the anti-tail phenomenon truly did violate known physics in ways that bordered on the supernatural. When legitimate evidence-based science documented impossible events, the crucial distinction between factual analysis and speculative theory became nearly impossible for the public to navigate. Educational institutions worldwide were forced to scramble, developing new curricula to help students process the 3IATLAS phenomenon, while simultaneously maintaining critical thinking skills in the face of information that challenged fundamental assumptions about reality itself. The anti-tail structure was quickly adopted as a terrifying living case study in how to analyze anomalous data without utterly abandoning the scientific methodology. Dr. Robert Chen at Caltech, who had been studying the extreme energy requirements for anti-tail maintenance, published crucial follow-up research dissecting the thermodynamic implications of the dust manipulation. His analysis suggested that 3IATLAS was somehow accessing energy sources that operate outside conventional physics. The anti-tail structure represents a violation of thermodynamic principles that should make its maintenance impossible. Chen wrote in his increasingly philosophical analysis, "Either our understanding of energy conservation is fundamentally incomplete, or we are observing technology that operates according to physical laws we have not yet discovered." The thermodynamic violations implied by the anti-tail structure added to the burgeoning list of ways 3IATLAS fundamentally challenged human understanding of natural law. The object was demonstrating capabilities that appeared to simply ignore the conservation of energy, the conservation of momentum, and every other foundational principle of human physics. Medical professionals began reporting a disturbing increase in anxiety and depression among people closely following the 3IATLAS developments. The anti-tail phenomenon in particular seemed to trigger profound existential crisis responses, as individuals struggled to process evidence that their understanding of reality was catastrophically inadequate. Mental health support groups dedicated specifically to 3IATLAS-related anxiety formed in major cities globally, providing counseling for those struggling to cope with the implications of confirmed alien technology. The aesthetic impact of the anti-tail, that devastating combination of impossible beauty and sheer impossibility, was a psychological trigger for many. In response, artistic communities worldwide were inspired to attempt terrestrial interpretations of cosmic engineering. Sculptors, painters, and digital artists created new works attempting to capture the visual and emotional impact of witnessing impossible beauty forged by technological means that exceeded human comprehension. This artistic response reflected humanity's desperate attempt to process an experience for which its evolutionary history had provided no preparation. The 3IATLAS had transformed from a technical anomaly into a comprehensive challenge to human understanding of intelligence, technology, aesthetics, and the very fabric of reality itself. As October drew to a close in 3IATLAS continued its inexorable approach toward solar conjunction, the anti-tail structure continued to evolve, suggesting preparation for activities that would occur during the hidden period behind the sun. The object appeared to be using its final weeks of visibility to communicate something through cosmic artistry that humanity was still desperately trying to comprehend, while simultaneously demonstrating technological capabilities that rendered all human achievements primitive by comparison. November 21, 2025 arrived with an intensity that seemed to vibrate through the collective consciousness of human civilization. According to Avi Loeb's meticulous calculations, this date marked the beginning of the crucial window when any probes deployed by 3IATLAS during its hidden solar passage might begin arriving at Earth. For the first time in recorded history, humanity was marking a calendar date that could represent either the most wonderful or the most terrifying moment in its existence. Dr. Sarah Kim at Caltech had been losing sleep for weeks as the deadline loomed, not because she believed in the inevitability of alien contact, but because the mathematical precision of Loeb's scenario made dismissing it impossible. "The orbital mechanics are unforgiving," she explained during what had become daily frantic briefings for government officials who struggled to prepare for scenarios that no policy manual had ever anticipated. If 3IATLAS did deploy reconnaissance probes during its solar passage, the laws of physics dictate they would begin arriving in Earth's vicinity during the next 2 weeks. The psychological impact of facing a specific deadline for potential first contact had profoundly reshaped human society in ways that social scientists struggled desperately to document and analyze. Stock markets were gripped by unprecedented volatility, with investors attempting to price in catastrophic scenarios, ranging from immediate technological revolution to species extinction. Religious communities worldwide organized continuous prayer vigils, their ancient faiths confronting a cosmic unknown, while secular institutions prepared for possibilities that challenged every established assumption about humanity's unique place in the universe. Amateur astronomers across the globe had mobilized, organizing the most comprehensive sky monitoring effort in recorded history. Thousands of dedicated observers coordinated their search patterns for any-minute objects that might represent incoming probes from 3IATLAS. The robust citizen science network, initially established by Marcus Rodriguez, had rapidly evolved into an efficient global early warning system, often detecting astronomical phenomena before professional institutions could even react. Stage 3 containment. Information flow tightened. NASA cited the government shutdown to dodge data releases. China stayed silent on Tianwen-1 images. ESA dropped safe fuzzy snapshots. High-resolution high-rise images detailed spectra and activity reports sat in pipelines being processed. Stage 4 narrative establishment. By late 2026, as speculation wanes, papers will emerge, data will drop, and the narrative carefully framed will take root. The IAAWN campaign. November 27, 2025, January 27, 2026 is a juggernaut with global telescopes, logging arc-second precise positions, photometry, and spectroscopy. Its build is a planetary defense drill, but its scale suggests deeper concern. Results will hit after review, shaping the story when public attention has faded. December 2025 to March 2026 is the crucible. On December 19th, 3IATLAS nears Earth at 269 million kilometers fair, but the best post-perihelion view. Amateur astronomers will flood X with unfiltered images testing the whistleblower's claim. Many home-based observers will see it all. If trajectory deviations, multiple objects, or unnatural glows appear confirmed by independent sources, the artificial. If it's just a comet, the prediction flops. The IAWN campaign will churn out data, but amateurs won't wait, creating a chaotic mix of signal and noise. By March 16, 2026, Juno's Jupiter flyby observations 54 million kilometers away could catch radio UV or thermal signatures, its GRAM mapper probing for heat anomalies. This is the last close-range shot before 3IATLAS exits. If it's on its predicted path, the comet case strengthens, slashing its lobe score. A deviation unexplainable by solar radiation or outgassing demands new physics or intent. Natural explanations, jet solar wind drag exists but strain when stacked. The data's coming, and with it a chance to unravel whether 3IATLAS is a rock. The truth about 3IATLAS is already set in stone, or rather in the cold vacuum of space. Whatever transpired during its perihelion passage from October 21 to 29, 2025 has happened. Its trajectory is locked, its composition fixed, its behavior, whether a mundane cometary glide or a calculated maneuver, etched into reality. The evidence is out there, hurtling through the solar system, carrying its secrets. We simply haven't pointed, but the clock is ticking. December 2025 is dawning, opening critical observation windows that promise a flood of data. Amateur snapshots, professional measurements, spacecraft glimpses. Not every question will find an answer, not with perfect clarity, but enough to shift the probabilities, to nudge us toward understanding whether 3IATLAS is the 8 anomalies propelling 3IATLAS to a rank of 4 out of 10 on Avi-Loeb's scale of technological origin are the fuel for this obsession. They're not mere quirks, but a constellation of improbabilities, each verifiable, each demanding explanation. Let's unpack them again with the weight they carry. Ecliptic alignment. 3IATLAS's trajectory lies within shatters of the ecliptic plane, where our planets orbit, shaped by the solar system's primordial disk. Local objects align here naturally, but an interstellar visitor from another star's nursery has no reason to match our plane. Its origins ecliptic would be random, yet this alignment carries a 2% probability, 2 chances in 100. Not impossible, but enough to spark questions about why it arrived so neatly oriented. Anti-tail. From July to August 2025, its dust defied physics, flowing sunward against solar wind and radiation pressure. Multiple telescopes confirmed it wasn't an optical trick, real material moved the wrong way. Loeb and Keto's model cites ice sublimation dynamics, but it's a rare configuration unseen in this form before. Timing close, passes by Mars, Venus, and Jupiter with perihelion during solar conjunctions blackout. October 24-29, 2025 have a 0.05% probability. Selection bias might explain planetary flybys, we spot bright, close objects. But the unobservable perihelion feels tactical. Chemistry. Nickel to iron ratios mimic industrial alloys, not natural minerals, with nickel to cyanide levels orders of magnitude above known comets. This backwards chemistry hints at something unnatural. Low water content. At 4% water, 3IATLAS is no dirty snowball. CO2 dominates, suggesting a rocky core with a thin, icy veneer, a natural quirk or a technological disguise. Negative polarization. Its scattered light shows unprecedented polarization properties rarer than 1%, pointing to unusual dust sizes, shapes, or compositions. WOW signal alignment. The trajectory traces within 9 degrees of the 1977 WOW signal source in Sagittarius, a 72-second unexplained radio burst. A 6% chance of random alignment fuels speculation, though the 48-year gap stretches plausibility. Velocity and trajectory. At 44 km/s, faster than Oumuamua or Borisov, combined with ecliptic alignment and planetary flybys. This configuration's probability plummets when multiplied. Each anomaly has a natural explanation, but 8 together strain credulity. Loeb's rank 4 score isn't a claim of artificiality. It's a plea to take the hypothesis seriously, to gather every scrap of data before 3IATLAS fades beyond reach. The counter-argument, our sample of 3 interstellar objects is too small to define normal, urges caution. Observation bias means we spot only the brightest, closest visitors, skewing our view. Yet the anomalies persist and actions speak louder than words. ESA retasking juice. Europa Clippers ion tail crossing IAWN's global campaign. Science is prioritizing this, even if public statements downplay the extraordinary. The information flow around 3IATLAS follows a recognizable playbook, one you see when institutions manage high-stakes unknowns. It's not a conspiracy, not a shadowy cabal, but a pattern of control through bureaucracy, delay, and framing. Stage 1 Discovery. In July 2025, automated surveys. Stage 2 Anomaly recognition. By late July, oddities emerged: weird spectroscopy, suspicious timing, that anti-tail. Researchers grew cautious, delaying publications to verify results, sharing data privately. Space agencies took notice, committees convened, and the tone shifted. Not nefarious, just scientists hedging against Stage 3 Containment. Information tightened. NASA cited the government shutdown to dodge data releases. China stayed silent on Tianwen-1 images. ESA dropped safe fuzzy snapshots. High-resolution, high-rise images, detailed spectra, and activity reports sat in pipelines being processed. Delays had plausible deniability, furloughs. Backlogs, peer review, but the Stage 4 narrative establishment. By late 2026, as speculation wanes, papers will emerge, data will drop, and the narrative carefully framed will take root. The IAWN campaign. November 27, 2025, January 27, 2026 is a juggernaut with global telescopes logging arc-second precise positions photometry. When high-rise images finally drop, they'll come wrapped in expert analysis explaining why they align with natural processes. This isn't deception, it's responsible communication providing context to avoid wild leaps. But it's also control institutions decide which anomalies to highlight, which to downplay, and which interpretation becomes the default. The public guided by this framing may miss the raw data's nuance. Stage 5, the slow fade. As the narrative sets, attention drifts. New discoveries steal headlines. Resources shift and 3IATLAS becomes a specialist footnote. By October 2020, coverage was already waning, fewer stories. Less buzz, not papers will publish, but only experts will read them. The millions who hung on every July image will be elsewhere. Their opinions formed unlikely to shift even if new data contradicts them. This is the playbook's genius. Let the news cycle exhaust itself. Let delays stretch past peak interest and release data when it's just another journal article. If you wanted to bury something extraordinary, you wouldn't suppress it. You'd let it trickle out, framed, contextual. December 2025 to March 2026 is the crucible. On December 19, 3IATLAS nears Earth at 269 million kilometers far, but the best post-perihelion view. Amateur astronomers will flood X with unfiltered images testing the whistleblower's claim. Many home-based observers will see it all. If trajectory deviations, multiple objects, or unnatural glow, the IATLAS campaign with its global precision will log data, but amateurs won't wait, creating a chaotic mix of signal and noise. By March 16, 2026, Juno's Jupiter flyby could catch radio UV or thermal signatures, its Juram mapper probing for heat anomalies. This is the last close-range shot before 3IATLAS exits. If it's on its predicted path, the comet case strengthens, slashing its lobe score. A deviation unexplainable by solar radiation or outgassing demands new physics or intent. The data's coming, and with it a chance to unravel whether 3IATLAS is a rock or something more. We're waiting, watching, and ready for the cosmos to speak. The observation suggested that something might indeed be happening in Earth's vicinity, but at levels of subtlety that exceeded humanity's current ability to conclusively identify and analyze. Marcus Rodriguez, whose Arizona Observatory had become the global coordination center for citizen science efforts, found himself documenting the most anticlimactic, yet potentially most significant non-event in human history. We may be witnessing contact that operates according to alien rather than human definitions of communication and interaction, he explained in his final deadline analysis video. The silence may be far more meaningful than any dramatic arrival we might have expected. The subtle nature of potential contact raised profound, unsettling questions about human perceptual and cognitive limitations when confronting an intelligence that operated according to fundamentally different, potentially incomprehensible principles. Third, 3IATLAS had already established itself as a technological entity that violated the human understanding of physical law. Therefore, any contact methods it employed might be equally incomprehensible to standard human observation and analysis. Dr. Robert Kim at Stanford, focusing on the human reaction, had been analyzing the psychological and sociological implications of the deadline passage regardless of whether actual contact had occurred. His research suggested that the shared intense experience of collectively anticipating alien arrival had already transformed human civilization in persistent ways. The December deadline has served as a mirror reflecting humanity's assumptions about intelligence, technology, and cosmic contact. Kim wrote in his post-deadline analysis, "Whether or not alien probes actually arrived, the process of preparing for such contact has revealed fundamental aspects of human psychology and social organization that we had never been forced to examine." The deadline's passing triggered an intense, divisive debate within the scientific community regarding how to interpret the absence of obvious contact. Some researchers argued that the lack of a dramatic arrival confirmed that 3IATLAS was ultimately a natural object whose anomalous characteristics could eventually be reduced and explained by conventional science. Others vehemently maintained that the deadline represented only one possible scenario among a vast array of possibilities, and that contact might yet occur, according to timelines and methods that human analysis had entirely failed to anticipate. Dr. Elena Vasquez, whose original trajectory analysis had initiated the entire 3IATLAS investigation, was forced into the difficult position of defending research that had predicted events which had not materialized in the expected forms. Science advances through hypothesis testing even when the results challenge our predictions, she stated during the post-deadline scientific review. The absence of contact according to one specific scenario doesn't invalidate the evidence that 3IATLAS represents artificial intelligence. Recognizing that alien contact might not conform to human scheduling expectations, international space agencies maintain their enhanced surveillance capabilities beyond the original deadline. The detection networks established for the December window were transformed from temporary crisis responses into permanent monitoring systems for potential alien activity operating indefinitely. Religious communities worldwide interpreted the deadline passage in ways that reflected their diverse theological frameworks. Some leaders viewed the lack of dramatic contact as confirmation that divine authority remained supreme over any potential alien intelligence, while others posited that contact might be occurring through spiritual, rather than technological channels that human institutions were not equipped to recognize. The Vatican issued a statement acknowledging that divine plans operate according to timelines that transcend human understanding, while emphasizing that the search for truth through scientific investigation remained a sacred obligation regardless of immediate results. Other religious organizations developed their own interpretations of the events that had simultaneously fulfilled and frustrated human expectations. Educational institutions found themselves rapidly reassessing curricula that had been developed to prepare students for post-contact scenarios that had not materialized as anticipated. The experience highlighted the paramount importance of intellectual flexibility and adaptive thinking when confronting unprecedented situations that challenged established frameworks for understanding reality. Dr. Maria Santos at UC Berkeley documented how the December deadline experience had profoundly affected student psychology and academic planning. Her research revealed that the possibility of imminent technological revolution had motivated many students to focus on adaptability and critical thinking rather than specific technical skills that might instantly become obsolete. The 3IATLAS crisis has taught us that the most valuable educational preparation for an uncertain future involves cognitive flexibility rather than specific knowledge, Santos explained in her post-deadline analysis. Students who learn to think adaptively about unprecedented challenges will be better prepared for whatever the future actually brings. The business and financial communities experienced the deadline passage as a period of unprecedented uncertainty followed by a cautious relief that global economic systems would continue operating according to familiar principles. However, the volatility and psychological impact of the crisis had exposed critical vulnerabilities in global economic structures that had never been tested by scenarios involving potential technological revolution. Stock markets had suffered wild fluctuations as investors attempted to price in scenarios ranging from technological utopia to economic collapse, ultimately settling into patterns that reflected continued uneasy uncertainty about 3IATLAS's true nature and implications. The experience starkly highlighted how utterly unprepared human economic systems were for managing the rapid paradigm-shifting technological change that might result from alien contact. Amateur astronomers maintained their enhanced observation efforts beyond the official deadline, recognizing that their robust citizen science networks had become an essential permanent component of humanity's ability to monitor cosmic developments. The democratization of 3IATLAS research had created persistent capabilities. Furthermore, the amateur community began developing new methodologies for detecting subtle phenomena that might represent alien activity operating below the threshold of conventional detection systems. These efforts acknowledge the possibility that advanced alien technology might be deliberately designed to avoid obvious detection while still conducting reconnaissance or other activities in Earth's vicinity. Intelligence agencies worldwide utilize the December deadline as a live fire test of their capabilities for managing unprecedented technological threats and complex information warfare scenarios. The experience revealed both strengths and critical weaknesses in systems designed for terrestrial rather than cosmic security challenges. The 3IATLAS crisis had forced intelligence organizations to develop new frameworks for analyzing threats that operated according to principles beyond human technological understanding. These advanced analytical capabilities would remain relevant regardless of whether the immediate contact predictions proved accurate. Mental health professionals documented significant psychological impacts from the deadline experience, ranging from acute anxiety during the waiting period to varied forms of relief disappointment or continued uncertainty after the deadline passed without obvious contact. The experience provided unprecedented insights into how human psychology responds to existential uncertainty on cosmic scales. Support networks established to help people cope with contact anxiety evolved into stable communities focused on processing the broader implications of living in a universe that clearly contained intelligence far exceeding human capabilities. This psychological adaptation to cosmic uncertainty had become an ongoing communal process rather than a singular crisis to be resolved. The deadline passage simultaneously triggered renewed urgent analysis of 3IATLAS itself, which was expected to emerge from behind the Sun and become visible to Earth-based telescopes once again in early December. The object's reappearance would provide the first crucial opportunity since October to assess whether it had been modified during its hidden passage or had deployed any secondary objects. Preliminary observations of 3IATLAS as it began to emerge from solar conjunction strongly suggested that the object had indeed undergone changes during its hidden period. New structural features were reportedly visible, and the electromagnetic emissions detected by radio telescopes showed increased complexity and organization compared to pre-conjunction observations. The modifications to 3IATLAS during its hidden passage provided compelling evidence that the object had been actively conducting operations while unobservable from Earth. Whether these operations included probe deployment system upgrades or other activities remained unclear, but the changes definitively confirmed that 3IATLAS represented active technology rather than a passive natural phenomenon. Dr. Jennifer Walsh at the Space Telescope Science Institute quickly found herself coordinating renewed observation campaigns designed to fully document whatever 3IATLAS might reveal about its activities during the solar passage. We're about to get our first look at what this object accomplished during 6 weeks of complete operational privacy, she explained during the observation planning briefing. The changes we observe will provide crucial insights into its capabilities and ultimate objectives. The verdict on 3IATLAS remained fundamentally ambiguous despite months of intensive investigation and the passage of predicted contact deadlines. The object clearly represented something unprecedented in human experience, demonstrating capabilities that challenge fundamental assumptions about technology, intelligence, and natural law. Whether it represented the definitive harbinger of alien contact or simply phenomena that human science had not yet learned to understand remained an open existential question that would continue shaping human civilization regardless of immediate answers.